Isaiah chapter 58 and verse 1. Cry aloud, spare not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet, and show my people their transgressions, and the house of Jacob their sins.
Copyright disclaimer. This content does not belong to Bible Chronicles or claim this intellectual property. The content provided today has and always will belong to the content owner. Bible Chronicles does not have any affiliation with the owner of this property. As mentioned, Bible Chronicles did not intend to make use of any material for the purpose of harvesting gain. However, Title 17 of United States copyright law states material and use can only be done when it's for theological or general educational purposes, and thus Bible Chronicles believes that this principal material falls under fair use, which honors protection under Section 107 of the same U.S. copyright law.
Mesta isukame Claudia Shemo ya utayu. Shabete ya komera javeni kenam pokayuve tita pero yemu que ag.
De donde soy no nos rajamos, cualquier tierra la trabajamos. El sacrificio jamás es en vano, que hasta el espacio hemos llegado. Where we are from no nos rajamos, and what we dream of lo realizamos. Gran paisano, hermano, amigo, soy mexicano. Y cambiamos de lugar, no de bandera. Verde, blanco y rojo lo llevo en las venas. Como el águila volamos sin fronteras. Rompemos la malla que separa tierras. Y nacimos con legado de grandeza. Extraño mi rancho, también mi familia, pueblo querido que no se me olvida. Aunque de este lado me trajo la vida, siempre paradela como Pancho Villa. Y cambiamos de lugar, no de bandera. Verde, blanco, rojo lo llevo en las venas. Como el águila volamos sin fronteras. Rompemos la malla que separa tierras. Y nacimos con legado de grandeza.
A nuestras mujeres y madres inmigrantes, un ejemplo de fuerza y valor. ¡Y que viva México!
Y aunque el acta diga americano, hay en puro mexicano.
Y cambiamos de lugar, no de bandera. Verde, blanco y rojo lo llevo en mis venas.
Como el águila volamos sin fronteras. Rompemos la malla que separa tierras. Y nacimos con legado de grandeza.
Con legado de grandeza.
viene a decirnos con mucha firmeza y gran convencimiento lo mismo que nos decía en el siglo XVIII el barón de Holbach, ¿no? Un filósofo francés de origen alemán. Si nos remontamos al comienzo, entonces hallaremos que la ignorancia y el temor crearon a los dioses. La fantasía, el entusiasmo o el engaño los adornaron o desfiguraron. La debilidad les rinde culto, la credulidad los conserva, la costumbre los respeta y la tiranía los apoya para que la ceguera de los hombres sirva a sus propios intereses.
I think it works. I think it actually works. Hopefully I don't have any problems today. Yeah. Yep. Good to be back. Buenas noches, buenos dias, buenas tardes for you that are watching afar from across the world. Hold on a second, family. Let me give you a screen to look at here real quick. Not sure why it's not popping up, to be honest, but it's kind of weird. But anyways, let's see if that picks up finally. Oh, I guess it doesn't. Give me a second. God, man, see, it's already giving me bumps. It's already giving me bumps. Come on, there we go. How hard is that? Shit, man. Anyways, all right. So let's see who's okay. What up? Hey, what up, Chris? Yeah, man. I had to my son hasn't been doing good. So, but you guys probably already hear that so much often. You that deal with children with autism or adults with autism or young adults with autism, you would know how it is. If it's in the spectrum, like severe, then you guys really know. I have something interesting for you guys today. Something very interesting, I think. When the border crossed us, well, I should say when the border crossed us, I should have put it more, but it brought a lifetime of legacy and hate. Now, and you guys know that in this channel, yeah, for sure, family first, man. That's without a doubt, man. Hold on a second. So, the reason for this title, and I'm gonna, as you know, gonna bring some scriptures out. Today is gonna be one of those days. I want you guys to consider a couple of things. And I'll tell you that my past history of the type of person I was, and every now and then, man, it kind of kicks in, I'm not going to lie. But I was a real flaky ass fool, especially when you come from an alcoholic background. You really can't keep commitments. So the reason I say that is because there was nothing that I would have told myself that would have convinced me to keep being consistent in this walk for the last 8 years in regards to what I have been understanding and now at this point been bringing out. So with that being said, Sirach 33:17 says, consider that I labor not for myself only. So at times I don't want to do this. At times I just want to put this away, F it, whatever. I'm tired, sometimes I lose sleep. I got a lot going on. Consider that I labor not for myself only, because just like Jeremiah, when you're called upon, you're called upon. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Okay. Again, if it was up to me personally, me of the old way, I could never have committed to even something this long. Not even, I don't see it. This is definitely something spiritual. That's all I can say. Whether you believe it or not, hey, it's up to you. I don't care. You know, just like you can't prove there's a beginning to an end. You know, I can't prove what I'm telling you it's legit. So, you know what I mean? You can only take from my word. You can only take what I say. And if you have spoken to me before, I think you would understand that I'm not kidding about this. With that said, I'm sorry. Let me continue that. Let me kind of get to my point here. 33:17, it says, consider that I labor not for myself only, but for all them that seek knowledge. Because once you know this is what happens. It should happen naturally. If you have been called upon, so to speak, or chosen, or like whatever. I'm not saying I am. I'm not saying that if you have this urge or pressure and then within your spirit doesn't let you rest or settle, then something it's calling you to bring out some information. Now, I'm not talking about some individualites that go out there and want to debate and be in front of people and try to prove a point and and smiling and smoking pot and thinking it's cool. Hey, somebody shoot the chats, you know what I'm saying? Put some money into it. That's not what I'm talking about, okay? That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking, but for all them that seek learning, like when I started understanding this, wasn't because I wanted to be better, brighter than other people. I just wanted to stop sinning, in a sense, stop messing up my life. Materialistic things did not satisfy me. You know, that wasn't the issue. Having women beautiful, that wasn't the issue. That was never, like, I never had problems with that. It was something else. I was searching for something else. So if you guys are searching for something else, for you that seek learning, that's why I'm doing these classes. And hopefully today can be an edifying day for you guys that are keeping Sabbath on these days, because, you know, the lunar has moved. Sirach 21:12. That's not the point. So let's continue. He that is not wise will not be taught. So if you are just here to take notes on how to challenge me, you will not learn anything today. Or you that are too prideful to self-reflect and repent, reflect, and repeat consistently, then this is not for you. If you want to come with your Christmas Christian doctrine, which we all suffer from, trust and believe I still suffer with family around me, and you're not listening beyond your emotions, this is not for you. He that is not wise will not be taught. Again, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. So the first understanding is to know that what I'm bringing out, forget what I say, family. Listen to the verses. If it makes sense, that maybe it may just change a bit for you. But there is a wisdom which multiplied bitterness. And this is why I still do it. It's not just for my learning, only for you that seek wisdom. And because this shit is bitter. It's bitter wisdom. It's bitter to know the stuff that our gente is going through. I'm going to bring out an example of what that is. This is from, I've showed this book before, Occupied America, the disgusting, huevos of these wasps to go out there and try to use the same title in one of their racist ass right-wing events, Occupied America, like we're occupying your asses. Let's remind ourselves here that the Europeans are the foreigners of this damn continent, okay? So I don't give a shit how racist you're going to get. If you're going to bring the fire, guess what? We're used to it already. There's nothing you've done that we're not used to. We've been born for this shit. But the point is this. In this chapter 3 of Occupied America, 7th edition, by the way, we're going to find something very interesting because that's technically the concept here. When the border crossed us, we didn't come to you guys. We didn't go to Europe. Did we go to Europe, family? I mean, did we go to Europe? Like in Europe, they're complaining because people are going to Europe and like as if they were, you know what I mean? Like, but they're in their location, right? They're in their location. Not these people here. Not these Europeans. Not these European wetbacks. That's what I'm going to call you guys. Because if you're letting your president Musk dictate your country, you got no country anymore. I'm going to tell you this right now. America has turned into what Mexico dictatorship Used to be. And those are facts. It's a sad case, but you are destroyed. You will never rule like you did again. You are done. Your dictatorship will be the first steps towards your destruction. And then after that, you will feel the bitter taste. Listen to this right here. Let's start off with the concept as to when we did not cross the border, nor did we go to Europe, nor did we ask you to come here. I want to read in that section where it says, Grant wrote, because he's talking about the notion that the United States had imperial motives in invading America offends many Euro Americans. Euro North people. However, the contemporaries of the war, such as U.S. President Ulysses Grant, 1822 to 1885, remember these years, shared the opinion that the United States was an aggressor nation. Grant wrote, for myself, I was bitterly opposed to the measure, and to this day regard the war with Mexico one of the most unjust ever waged by a stronger against a weaker nation. It was an instant of a republic following the bad example of European monarchies. And are we not there already? In not considering justice in their desire to acquire additional territory. Grant added, Texas, because it all starts there, and we're back there again. We're back there again. I think that is a pivotal point of where this WW, you know what I'm saying? 3, I think. You know, that's what I think is going to happen between these two particular places, the North and the South. Texas was originally a state belonging to the Republic of Mexico. The American colonists paid very little attention to the supreme government and introduced slavery into the states almost from the start. Now, when we read those particular statements, you would think and say, yeah, the white man's just evil, man. They're just a wicked-ass nation. No, they ain't the only ones. And I'm going to show you, there wasn't just white people that went and did this, okay? Texas was originally a state belonging to the Republic of Mexico. Colonists paid very little attention to the supreme government and introduced slavery in the states almost from the start. You see this? Remember, Mexico, after Spain, had abolished slavery in 1828. Through the Constitution of Mexico, did not, nor does it now, sanction that institution. Of the annexation of Texas, Grant said, the occupation, separation, and annexation were, from the inception of the movement of its final consummation, a conspiracy to acquire territory out of which slave states might be formed for the American Union. What kind of people are you? The audacity, like some of y'all like to say, the nerve of you to feel this way and then come and turn around with these new so-called political, propagandas on the right side and Christian evangelicals trying to tell you how the savagery is us, that we are the savages, that we're the murderers. You know what I'm saying? That we're the invaders. Who invaded who? Evidence shows a thievery. So technically, this land doesn't technically belong to you, does it? Now, let me continue with that thought. On Occupied America, on 3rd edition, okay? Remember, by the way, this is a prerequisite in the Chicano Studies class. So if you guys are in college, young, get this book. They'll probably ask you to get it anyways. I don't know what edition they're in now, but anyways, on page 15, it says this, the myth of a nonviolent nation. This is what we typically hear, family, okay? This is the bitter wisdom that you assume this is the way it was, and then you realize, wait a minute, it was never like that. Yes, because since the beginning of time, since they crossed or created a border, supposedly that we crossed, lifetime and legacy of hate. They've never changed. Most studies on the Mexican-American War dwell on the causes and results of the war, sometimes dealing with the war strategies. One must go beyond this point since the war left bitterness and since Anglo-American actions in Mexico are vividly remembered. Mexican attitude towards Anglo-Americans has been influenced by the war, just as easy victory of the U.S. conditioned Anglo-American behavior towards Mexicans. All right. Fortunately, some of the Anglo-Americans condemn this aggression and flatly accuse their leaders of being insolent and land hungry. But here's the point, fam. Don't they say this? God love America. And look at how they themselves, you see, this is what you have to ask these Christmas Christian bastards, these dirty bastards that claim to say they love the Most High, they believe in Jesus, they love their brethren, but they have no idea of the doctrine that their institution believes deep down inside. That's why in secret they feel the way they feel. That's why when this orangutan showed up out of nowhere and expressed how they felt, they're like, look, listen, I'll suffer as long as you get rid of these invaders, so-called. Again, the pride of the race has swollen to still greater insolence. The pride of a country, always quite active enough for the due observance of the claims of universal brotherhood. The Anglo-Saxon has been apparently persuaded. Remember that. Persuaded. You are not. You have never been. You were only put there in a position, just like in Romans 9, 7, and 8, how it gives us an example of how he lifted up a kingdom, like, let's say, Egypt or Rome, just to destroy you. You're no better than anybody. You're just a spittle from a drop of a bucket. The Anglo-Saxons, that's who I'm talking to, have been apparently persuaded to think themselves, to the chosen people. Really? Anointed race of the Lord. Which one? Saint Germain? Francis Bacon? Commissioned to drive out the heathen. Who is the heathen? And plant their religion and institution in every Canaan they could subjugate. You see this, family? You see what I'm saying? You got to ask yourself why and how come they never talk about this? Bring this to a Christian and you tell me how defensible this can be. Oh, well, those were the times of the... Wait, really? Wait, what are you talking about? How far can we go back? Because you Christians believe in the Constitution, correct? That's in 1776. So how far can we go back? Selective history? Are we talking about? Our treatment both of the red man and the black man has habituated us to feel our power and forget right. The passion for land also is a leading characteristic of the white people. The God terminus is unknown deity in America. Like the hunger of the pauper boy of fiction, the cry had been more, give us more. Now we're going to read pretty soon in Habakkuk, something like that. But now let me take you through a parable that I believe really resonates with our people, with our experience, with our history. And it relates to the parable of the dishonest manager, but I'm not going to go back that far. You see, because in this particular chapter, it talks about an individual called Lazarus. Okay. Now, in case you guys don't know who that is, I would suggest for you to read the chapter. There's a lot of deep understanding in just the beginning of those two verses. So let's dabble into this in case you guys don't know. Let's try to break this down. Hopefully you guys can get some edification out of this, because I really think that hopefully with the examples that I show you, you can see what exactly does it mean between Lazarus and this rich man, poor man, so to speak, and then exactly how through this story there's joy. You know what I'm saying? There's joy about this thing. So let's get to it, because this is Luke chapter 16 verse 19. All right, so we're gonna start right here. The rich man and Lazarus. So let's begin. Oh, actually, matter of fact, let me do this. I'm gonna use blue letter on this one. Blue letter. Give me a second. Luke 16. Okay, let's go real quick. All right, so we're gonna use you're gonna use this one because we're gonna talk about some concordance real quick. Just so you guys can get a better, deeper understanding and what exactly is this parable talking about. Okay, so it says here, and it doesn't apply to everybody. Stop it. Luke 16:19 says there was a certain man, a rich man, which was clothed in purple and fine linen. You know, no pun intended. For some of y'all wearing purple these days, you really feel proud of yourselves. Anyways, and fared sumptuously every day. Okay, let's just read it for what it is right now. And there was a certain beggar named Lazarus, which was laid at his gate, full of sores. So now, when you read this for what it is, you're thinking, okay, it's talking about a rich guy and a poor guy, and you know what I mean? He's, just sick, whatever, broken down. So let's break this down a little bit more. And we're going to first read verse 19. We're going to come back to the rich guy after we get a little breakdown on the beggar. So it says, again, there was a certain rich man which was clothed in purple and fine linen and fared sumptuously every day. And there was a certain beggar named Lazarus. So now, the word beggar, when you break it down, let's continue into looking into this, okay? The word beggar, when you break it down, and if you go into here, let me go to, I'll say in reverse. Hold on. Where are you at? Miscellaneous. So we talk about miscellaneous, Bible, reference. Okay, let's see. Let's go to, give me a second. Which one I'm looking at? Commentaries or dictionary? Come on, man. I guess it looks different on the phone, huh? I tell you what, let me go into it. Let me go into the word beggar. Okay. What a nerd. So the word beggar has a definition of reduced to beggary. Okay. Begging, asking. Destitute of wealth, influence, position, honor, low, afflicted, destitute of Christian virtue or eternal riches. We all know what that means. Powerless, hopeless, needy, lacking anything, everything, or lacking the spirit, so to speak, right? Now, if we go down to the Thayer's Greek lexicon, it says to be thoroughly frightened, to cover, dine, or hide oneself for fear. Now, if you guys, just common sense, fear is the number one destroyer of everything. So think about this when it talks about the beggar. This was this beggar man, fearful, broken, destroyed, right? Away from any type of spirit, any hope of knowing who the word of the Most High. No wisdom whatsoever. Is there really a God? I mean, you're hoping things are not working out for you, right? So this is the kind of state of mind that this brother is walking into, right? So it says here again, and there was a beggar named Lazarus. But again, let me not forget my point here. The beggar part, I want to emphasize this. Let me see in case I forget something, because I think I might have skipped something. Crouch. So I'll give you an example. My son right now, he's really battling these things, right? And he's slouching a lot. He's in a very submissive kind of position, like, trying to give up. And he's staying in there. A beggar as cringing, and he's suffering. He's like suffering. And I see him sometimes suffer, within, like he feels this, I guess I can only express it like massive anxiety within. And he's just distressed, like he's got literally no, he's hopeless, so to speak. So now when you go to, let's see, go back to this, go back to the verse. So now it says, there was a certain beggar named Lazarus, which was laid at his gate. Now, let me read this real quick. Because when you think about the curses, we're talking about a man that's destroyed mentally, a man that's destroyed spiritually, okay? Someone that you look at and you think, God ain't dealing with him. That's what society tells you, right? He's not well off. He's not prospering because Jesus ain't with him. Deuteronomy 28 and 29 talks about the same thing. And thou shalt grope at noonday as the blind gropeth in darkness. Bitter, right? Beggar. Destitute of understanding. Blind. no direction, and thou shalt not prosper in thy ways, just like Lazarus, and thou shalt only be oppressed and spoiled evermore. So when we look at spoiled evermore, now let's go back to the verse, beggar, I'm sorry, and there was a beggar named Lazarus, which was laid. So check this out. I looked at this here. If you click on the concordance and you break this word down, then it's to throw, to let go of things without caring where it falls. Man, you know, that's a heavy point. How many people, brothers and sisters, have we seen that we all grew up with, man, that were doing well in life, and all of a sudden they let go, that they just let go. Hey, saludos, brother. How you doing, man? Oh, hey, what's up, Waracuya? What up, brother? Good to have you. Good to have you here, bro. Estudiante, what's up, bro? Good to have you here, man. I didn't see you guys. Anyways, I've met several friends. I've lost friends that just didn't care. Just let go. So we're talking about Lazarus, a beggar he's a beggar, he's destitute of wisdom, broken, right? Just he's let go. He's got kind of hopeless. Is there a God? I'm sure he believes. Like some of us have been in this deep darkness, man, that we were walking and stressing through life, and that we still believe, but I was like, man, our hope was like small. But even though the scripture said, bro, even if you have a little bit of faith, bro, that's enough, right? That got us through. It's just like this. Through, let go, done, over with. I'm like, man, I don't care anymore, bro. I'm done. You know what I mean? And just like this right here, Deuteronomy 28:29, and thou shalt grope at noonday as the blind gropeth in darkness, and thou shalt not prosper in thy ways, and thou shalt only be oppressed and spoiled evermore. And then when you see this, man, you gave up. Why? Because no one is there to help you. Just like Lazarus. Poor. Not only to not being poured out of the spirit, but you're poured out of spirit. You guys have to really look into these words, because they can really give you an understanding. You know, think about this, man. It says to scatter, to throw, to cast into, right? To give over to one's uncertain, to care. That's, and matter of fact, look, to give over to one's care, uncertain about the results. Man, come on, bro. It's no different than verse 48, Deuteronomy 28:48. And therefore thou shalt serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send thee, in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. Until when? Because you basically are laid at the gate. You given up your hope to other people that don't give a damn about you. It's no different with this Lazarus concept. He's given up his hope that maybe somebody will feel bad enough for him that he'll just, hey, could you help me out? Didn't you guys vote for Donald Trump thinking, hey, could you give me a crumb? Could you please make me feel certain? Because I just don't know if there is really a God, maybe. I don't know. And again, it goes back to the curses. And if you study this book like you should, you would get a proper breakdown. Now let's continue. And Lazarus, the beggar named Lazarus, which was laid at the gate, full of sores. Now, when you click this here, it says, pretty simple, make sores, ulcers to be ulcerated. Now, we know sores comes like pus. There's stuff that comes out of it, right? So let's go back to the actual word, because by clicking here, it won't give you enough. But if you click here, now let's just pick up this word. Petrifying sores. Okay, so we're looking for the word source. Here, H4347. Okay. I think it's the word I'm looking for. No, that's not the word I'm looking for, bro. Oh, here we go. Hold on a second. Let me go back to it. Source. Let's see what this is. If I can just get it. Let me see. Let me try to see if I can find the full source. Let me see if I can find the root word. Okay. Oh, here it goes. 1G. Okay, let's go to the root word of source. Okay, so I isolate the word itself. So if we isolate the word source, so to speak, helkeos, then it says a wound, a producing a discharge plus sore or ulcer. Okay. So now we're talking about okay, a root word 16668 is a root word of source. So now let's talk about this one, probably from G1670. Now the meaning of this gets a little deeper, and it says to draw, to drag by inward power. Now it's like, wait, what are you talking about? To drag. Now the reason why I'm going a little deep on this, fam, is because when you read the scripture as to what it's saying, check this out. So we know that the beggar means destitute, far from, right? Light or understanding. Laid, meaning just completely have given up, no hope whatsoever. Destroyed like a blind man, right? Basically hoping that some other one can maybe give a chance to him, right? Full of sores, meaning what? He's discharging. Some people say it is sin in a sense. You're full of sins. But it's like hemorrhage. So now check this out. Here's the reason why I'm saying this. Verse 21 then helps. And desiring to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table. Now, if we go into crumbs is, I believe, let me go back. Let me go here. Yeah, G5589. What do crumbs mean? A little morsel, crumb, right? But if we do a derivative of the base of meaning a crumb, right? Let's click here for a second to get a deeper understanding, or at least a better definition. So now we see to pluck off, to cause to vibrate, to touch, to strike a chord, right? To play a harp, a hymn, to celebrate praise of God. So now we're talking about a man that's hoping for this dude to give him crumbs off the table. Now, if you're eating at the table, you're going to let a man full of sores eat by you? No, you're not, right? It's getting deeper here. This is where it's getting deeper now. We're talking about a man that's spiritually destroyed and somebody that seems to have somewhat of spiritual food. And even if I could just get a little bit of that, maybe. Is that the crumb we're talking about? That spiritual food? Remember, you don't only eat by flesh, it's the spirit that feeds you, correct? So the crumbs, let's say now, let's continue. Let me just read through it. So desiring to be fed with the crumbs which fell off the rich man's table. Crumbs to be fed. We see this, right? To pluck off, so to speak, right? The crumbs is like, let's say, the word of the Most High, the Bible, so to speak. It's kind of like how some of you guys go to Sunday church, thinking that he's going to be there. If you can just get a little bit, maybe. You got a lot of suffering going on. If you could just get a little bit, maybe. But then it says, moreover, the dogs came and licked his sores. So he's destitute, broken, battered. Once there's a little hope, thinking that this would be sufficient. And while he's hoping, struggling, and battling, you got dogs around you still destroying you. Now, if we go back to Deuteronomy 28, 50, I believe, verse 59, then the Lord will make thy plague wonderful, and the plagues of thy seed, even great plagues, and the long continuance and sore sickness of long continuance. This is the stuff that, you can use that one. I don't know why I wrote it down, to be honest, at this point, now that I look at it. Kind of like it, but I don't think it fully applies. I mean, it does, but you know, what I mean, I wish I would have wrote some. Maybe at that time it did seem right, and it just doesn't seem right at this time. So let me just go back. Luke 16:21, and desiring to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table, and then says, moreover, the dogs came and licked the sores. So now, rich man, poor man. Now we have dogs around the poor man. Who are these dogs? Now, based on the Bible, there is a translation for dogs. So let's start from the get-go. 11:7. Exodus 11:7 says here, but against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue against man or beast, that ye may know how that the Lord put a difference between the Egyptian and Israel. So he'll call other nations dogs. So now, are we talking about Lazarus being around other nations, heathens, licking his sores? Remember, he's laid at the gates full of sores. Sore is actual pain. Sometimes people with other intent will give you something that will soothe your pain, but never fully cure your pain. You follow what I'm talking about? So that's why when you say, and dogs were at his, wait, let me go back to it, because I don't have that scripture memorized. It says, moreover, the dogs, people, tempted him and licked his sores, meaning, hey, Lazarus, don't trip, bro. Here's a beer, homie. You good. Here's a smoke. Here's a sniff. Here, just get yourself a prostitute. Don't even trip. There's no God, bro. Don't even go to church. Don't read the Bible. That shit ain't real. And those are the plagues also that are mentally plaguing you. The dogs came. Now, I'll give you another example in case you guys think that maybe, he doesn't talk about these people or the nations as dogs. Well, okay, well, you know what I mean? I'll give you one that, you know what I'm saying, that may just make a lot more sense. Psalms 22:16, for dogs have compassed me. The assembly of the wicked have enclosed me. They pierced my hands and my feet. So we see that in the understanding of this is when the Meshiach actually experiences, correct? But in this point, for dogs have encompassed me, meaning people. They have no good intent towards you. No good intent. All ill will. All ill will. So don't think that, it's just a story about a poor man, dogs licking his, no, man, you got to go deep into this stuff. Isaiah 56:10 and 11. Let's check this out. It says here, his watchmen are blind. They're all ignorant. They're all dumb dogs. He calls people dogs. They cannot bark, sleeping, lying down, loving to slumber. Yea, they are greedy dogs, which can never have enough. And they are shepherds that cannot understand. They all look to their own way, everyone for his gain, for his quarter. So now you see that this situation of Lazarus, I know that me personally, when I was really deep into my ism, this is exactly how I felt, man. There was part of me that said, God, please, God, help me. But I was completely destroyed, man. Exactly like that. Full of sores, and everybody around me, the dogs that were licking my sores were what? Here, you can fix it with this. But never the real problem. They were always giving me the wrong solutions because, again, if the demons want you to be down, bro, they're going to want you to be down. And I'll show you another one. Matthew 7. Watch this real quick, just to be safe. In case I almost forgot to put that one down. Shoot. It says, give not that which is holy unto dogs. You see? Dogs licking your sores, people with bad intent. If you're already destroyed, you have any people around who want to keep you down. We're going to get to the rich man pretty soon. Don't even worry. Neither cast ye your pearls before the swines. But again, don't give what unto dogs. And who are dogs? Is he really talking about people? I mean, is he really talking about dogs? No, he's talking about people, nations. Even your own hand too. Philippians 3:2. Beware of dogs. Why? Beware of evil workers. Beware of concessions. Beware of concessions. Beware of dogs. Beware of evil workers. So again, when you read Luke here, I'll read it here just to get to the point. Luke 16:21, and desiring to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table. So here is like hey, like for example, when I was going through a lot of battles, right? And I'll tell my mom, like, hey, mom, I think I want to go to one of your little gatherings. I'll go to a retreat. I went to a couple of retreats where, like a weekend type of deal, like not too far, like San Diego type, and it was enough to get me out of my beggary state of mind, my beggary spirit, But then as soon as my sword started hurting again, my temptations and my flesh, there was them dogs, bruh. Them dogs ready to lick my swords. Because, there's in case you guys don't know that dogs, they will not allow your cuts to cure. Because there's a lot of bacteria. Do not believe what other people say. They're not clean. They eat shit. Trust me. Moreover, the dogs came and licked his sores. Now, when you think about who, or at least maybe family members we've had that we've seen in a low state, right? Just destroyed, like just destroyed. Heroin addict type, almost overdosed twice. Let's say, I don't know, coke addiction. Like, I mean, bottom barrel, disappearing for a month type of deal, bro. Like that state of mind. Like that spirit, like that far apart, so close to hell, so far from the Most High, so to speak. You know what I mean? So that's the Lazarus type of spirit that we're talking about. That broken, contrite heart. Like, because some of us are battling that bad. And I'll say this now: if you're enjoying yourself, through this walk, and you're debating and you're laughing and smoking and chilling and shit, and you're like, yeah, we're the people. Yeah. Bro, listen. Good luck. Good luck. I don't want to be you. I'll say that. I did find this, though, in case you guys want to know. The old understanding of lick one's wounds, the meaning meant when we face difficult situations, our experience failure is a natural feeling of hurt and defeated, and the idiom licks one's wounds is often used to describe the process of recovering from such setback. This phrase has been around for centuries and has its root in animal behavior when injured animals would lick their wounds as a way to clean them and promote healing, supposedly. So, you guys can look up some of those examples. But let's continue. Let me go to verse 23. Luke 16:23. So we understand. I'm sorry. Let's finish Luke 20 verse 22. Sorry. And it came to pass that the beggar died. Okay. So now we're gonna move on to this other section. So we understand now what went on with Lazarus and what exactly does Lazarus mean. We haven't touched the rich man. We're about to in a little bit. Okay. So now we see and it came to pass that the beggar Lazarus died and was carried by the angels into Abraham's bosom. The rich man also died and was buried. Now, I'm going to tell you something, family. Why is Abraham constantly being brought about? If the Most High gave the rights and chances to everybody, he should have just kept it with Noah, not Abraham. Get what I mean? Get with the program. Then it says here, I'm sorry, let me read it again. And it came to pass that the beggar died and was carried by the angels into Abraham's bosom, and the rich man also died and was buried. Okay, you see this? And was buried. So the beggar died, and the spirit goes to Abraham. The rich man dies, the spirit does not go to Abraham. Okay, and in hell he lifted up his eyes, being in torment, and seeth Abraham afar off and Lazarus in his bosom. So now let's touch on this real quick. So since we're learning about the rich man now and what's going to happen to the rich man, first of all, we're going to learn what's going to happen to the rich man, and then we're going to look at who the rich man is or who these rich men are. Okay, but let's understand what's going to happen to this rich man. You had it good in this land, right? Manifest destiny, doctrine of discovery, correct? God loves America. Get these beaner spicks, wetbags out of our country, something that's not yours, right? Right, rich man? You had it good. You know those times, family, when you drive around, you see all this lands that, does not belong to them. They have these beautiful homes, and you know damn well that someone stole that shit. That spirit sunken, correct? It's not an envy. It's just like, man, wow, it's nuts how it works out, right? And then you have some that complain and claim that they shit belong to them and it never did. It's funny to me when I see these things. So when we are really tormented, right? When the end comes and it's time for them to pay, we're gonna see what happens. And in hell, he lifted up his eyes, being in torments. Now, I think, in case you don't know this, the Most High creates everything, good, evil, takes life and gives life. If you cannot swallow that pill, then you need to stop reading this book. Wisdom of Solomon 19:4 says exactly this: for the destiny whereof they were worthy drew them unto this end, and made them forget the things that had already happened. Meaning there's no remembrance of your good life while you were here. Like, no remembrance. You think things were good, so when you pass, you think it's going to be good again, that they might fulfill the punishment, which was wanting to their torments. So you think, nah, I'm going to be good. Wisdom of Solomon 12:23. It says, wherefore, whereas men have lived desolately and unrighteously, thou hast tormented them with their own abomination. So then, enjoy this life, Edom. Live it. You say it's your God, go for it. Live it. Because the way that you've been tormenting our gente, if you believe in the book, then you know damn well that your spirit's going to feel this. If you believe. But I don't know if you guys really do. I think it's just BS to me. 2 Ezra 13:38. How also will you be tormented? I ask. It says, and shall lay before them their evil thoughts. So how you feel towards us, evil thoughts are going to feel that way towards you. And the torments wherewith they shall begin to be tormented, which are like unto a flame, and he shall destroy them without labor by the law which is like unto me. You're gonna go buck nutty destroyed. I can't imagine. Like, imagine, I don't know, man. I don't know these nations. You guys are very hateful, bro. Cruel people. So imagine that being done to you, and you feel that anger and hate within you. Like the moment somebody may have the knife in your throat and you're like, oh shit, you know what I'm saying? Or about to go get shot, or about to fall off and you think it's over. That type of fear. Now, some of y'all may wonder, what gives you the right to talk this way? Well, I'll tell you what gave me the right to talk this way. The spirits. Hosea 12:10 says, I have also spoken by the prophets, and I have multiplied visions and used similitudes by the ministry of the prophets. This didn't come because, I don't know, I made it up or something. This comes after time. In the process of me putting together this class, so to speak, it took about the whole week. These things aren't provided or just revealed to individuals. And I know that people may not believe that many people listen to this channel. I can guarantee you that there's many that watch this channel in secret and learn more than you can imagine. Luke 8:10 says, and he said, unto you it is given to know the mysteries of the kingdom of God, but to others in parables, that seeing they might not see, and hear, and they might not understand. I told a couple of you brothers, man, about how we only get 4 books out of this that are spoken in parables. 4 books where the Mashiach communicates and only in parables, nothing else, nothing else. That's it. How so? Why so? Because it ain't for everybody. And not everybody's going to believe or listen. So, you know what I mean? It kind of goes hand in hand. Amos 3:7, surely the Lord will do nothing but he revealed his secrets unto his servants, the prophets. So these mysteries are revealed. These secrets, what kind of secrets? And where will you find these secrets? Well, Psalms 91:1 says, he that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. Well, where are these secrets? Where's the secret place that dwelleth? Here. Psalms 147:19. He showed his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. It's this book. He had not dealt with any nation, and as for his judgment, they have not known them. Praise ye the Lord. So again, he reveals his secrets to certain people, and not all the time, not in a blunt fashion. No, like in a trickle, a little here, a little there. Job 33:14. Watch, it says here, for God speaketh once, yea twice, yet man perceive it not. Sometimes we don't pay attention, and then it comes back. Oh, that's right, I remember that. Then he says, in a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falleth upon men, and slumbering upon the bed, that's where he starts really dissecting the instructions for each one of us. Then he openeth the ears of men and sealeth their instructions. That's why some of us have a plan and then something else happens, that he may withdraw man from his purpose and hide pride from man. Again, remember the scripture, Sirach 33:17. I labor not only for myself, but for them that seek knowledge. It's the same concept here. So he reveals these things to those people that obviously are willing to reveal it to the brethren, because repentance shouldn't cost a damn thing. That's always what I said. But apparently, there's a lot of merchandising going around. And people are having fun with this Bible like as if, no big deal. I can debate all day and night, and, we're good, and we're the champs. I'm in the lion's den, man. I'm debating in the lion's den now. Oh, I feel so proud. Oh, I'm accepted. Shit is a joke. I'll be there, Lord willing, if I'm invited. Thought I was, but I guess I wasn't. But I look back and I'm like, bro, that shit is a joke, to be honest with you. What are you guys exactly getting out of it? You got people there smoking, chilling. Hey, everybody sit back, light up your blunt, pop your 40 and enjoy the debate. Like, wow, bro, what is this? What is this? Where's Lazarus, bro? Let's go back to that then. Luke 16:23, and in hell he lifted up his eyes, being in torment. We just talked about torment. How these things are going to occur. And what are the torments? The same hatred that you have towards ours, there's going to be the same towards you. But you're going to be dealing with spirits. That feeling of, in case you guys have ever experienced that feeling of being scared and nothing's there. Yeah, those spirits. And he cried and said, Father Abram, so now this is the rich man, have mercy on me, and send Lazarus that he may dip the tip of his finger in water. Now, we know that water, the word, that's why water, the word, and trees and being rooted makes a lot of sense. Hosea 10, giving you a hint. And cool my tongue, for I am tormented in these flames. But Abram said, Son, remember that thou in thy lifetime receivest thy good things. Enjoy it, Edom. Enjoy it, Canaan. Enjoy it. Live it. God loves America. I'm glad. And likewise, Lazarus, even evil things. But now he is comforted, and thou art tormented. I know it scares you guys. Inflation, the economy, job loss. You're going to think somebody's going to turn it around, and you committed to a dictator for the sake of saving your ass. And now It's done, over with. You've already sealed your deal. Wasp, you've done your dirt, and you guys that followed, you're right behind them. And besides all this, between us and you, there is a great gulf fixed. So no matter what you do, enjoy your life now, Mr. White Man. So that day which would pass from hence to you cannot. There's nothing you can do. Now remember, there's no repentance for that certain individual. Neither can they pass to us and would come from thence. Then he said, I pray thee therefore, Father, that thou wouldest send him to my father's house. For I have 5 brethren, that he may testify unto them, lest they also come into this place of torment. So it's like, well, can you at least send him so he could warn my people? So they could teach the real Hebrews righteousness instead of torment? Abraham said unto him, they have Moses and the prophets, let them hear them. So then now Abraham responds. He said, nay, Father Abraham, but if one went on from the dead, they will repent. Right? But what did he say? And he said unto him, if they hear not Moses and the prophets, neither will they be persuaded, though one rose from the dead. So there's going to be kind of like well, I don't, how can I say it? When you compare, like sometimes I sit back and I'm like, how do some of these people have it so good, man? They look like they have this perfect, like, I mean, I know some of y'all have talked like that before. Man, they got it so good, bro. This was obviously before too, you know. See them, everything seems to be organized, house is clean, you know. They're going places, family looks happy, shit like that, right? And then your life's all messed up, and you're just kind of like, what's going on? Like, you know, you think that it's something that, like, oh, if I do this, I could get there. And if I do that, I can get there. I'll give you guys an example, which I've talked before. You know, there's nothing I can do with regards to going back in time and maybe doing something different and avoiding my son from having autism, so to speak, right? There's nothing I can do about that. And that's what it's kind of talking about. You know, that's the life that was kind of the path set for you. It doesn't mean you have to stay there, but it also doesn't mean that that the pain will go away. The stress, the PTSD, they call it too, you know, it's going to be there. And those are the things that you're going to have to deal with, because there's going to be dogs that are going to encompass you to continue to keep you in that state. Fear, anger, resentment, hatred. If you can't get over that, then guess what? You cannot really understand the wisdom of the Most High. That's why the rich man will never get it. Why? Because suffering sometimes, like that ass whooping, man. It's like when you hit rock bottom, I'm going to tell you this right now. When you hit rock bottom, for you brothers that have hit rock bottom, you know what I'm talking about. You have nowhere else to go but up, basically. A lot of folks that haven't suffered like that, bro, they can't really self-reflect. They're not willing to change. The rich man in this case didn't want to change. He had it good. He thought he was doing everything good. Why? I'm good. So now who is this rich man? We know what's going to happen to this rich man. We got hints about what this rich man is going to be or who he is. So who is this rich man? And how does this rich man move? Habakkuk 2:4 says, behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. Yea, also, because he transgressed my wine, he is a proud man, neither keep it at home. So this rich man likes to kind of enlarge himself a bit, right? Who enlarges his desires as hell and is as death. Get out of my way. I want it. It's mine. Who enlarges his desire as hell and is as death. He'll kill you if he ain't getting it and cannot be satisfied. It's like the serial rapist. But gathereth unto him all nations, Edom, and heap it unto him all people, rich men. The rich man. Let's get an idea of who these people are and how they expand themselves, enlarge themselves, and how they move and act like as if they're so just and justified. The doctrine of discovery, the rich man table. The doctrine of discovery. They took the land, took the table, and now we're eating the crumbs by building walls and keeping us out of our own land. Claiming us to be what? Illegal aliens in our own continent. Yea, also because he transgressed my wine, he is a proud man. Wine meaning their doctrine, their evangelical Protestant bullshit, their Christmas Christian, orgonomics shit. You know what I'm saying? He is a proud man, neither keep it at home, who enlargeth his desire is hell and is as death. And he cannot be satisfied, but gather unto him all nations and heap it unto him all people. What are you talking about? Listen to this.
Ordered Cambodian genocide. Sent cruise missiles to Sudan, people died. Gave the orders to do drone strikes. Invaded Nicaragua in '85. Instigated the Cuban Missile Crisis. Invaded the Dominican Republic. Endorsed the invasion of East Timor. Invaded Guatemala in '54. Overthrew the government of Panama. Started the war on terror. Funded the Timorese genocide. Dropped a nuclear bomb not once but twice. In the International Court of Justice, condemned all our crimes. We just shrugged our shoulders and said, we do what we want, we do it all of the time. We even ramped up the genocide.
Think you get the picture. Neither keep it at home, who enlargeth his desire is hell and is as death. You see what happened? Killed, enlarged it, took other things that were not his, cannot be satisfied, but gather unto him all nations. Didn't we see different presidents doing what they do and heap it unto him all people? This is, again, it goes back to what we read earlier. Parables, the Meshiach spoke in parables, dark sayings, secrets were only given to certain people. Matthew 13:35, it says, here goes right here. Yeah, it's right here. It says, that it might be fulfilled, which was spoken by the prophet, saying, I will open my mouth in parables. I will utter things which have been kept secret from the foundation of the world. See, we didn't know that a lot of this was going on, and we still didn't know that where this history comes from. See, we still assume that it was just certain people, and we really didn't have an idea as to what all the mechanisms were. Like, who took part in this whole thing, right? This invasion, this creating a border that was never there, this lifetime and legacy of hate. Why? The parables are the ones that let us know. If you study the scriptures thoroughly, and you are called upon, I think I could at least suggest that you may just get the answer by reading and understanding history and following politics. Let me tell you something about the book. It has law, politics, and again, so-called theology. The Bible is basically based off of those three things. There's laws. There's hold on a second. I just forgot. Anyway, I just said it. I'll come back to me. Psalm 78 and 2. I will open my mouth in a parable. I will utter dark sayings of old. Let's go to one more example. Proverbs 1:6. To understand a proverb and the interpretation, the words of the wise in their dark sayings. What is needed? The fear of the Lord is the beginning of the knowledge. That's the beginning. That's where it all begins. That's where all of these things will start expounding upon you. Again, but it's not for everybody. Deuteronomy 29:29. Here's an example of what I mean by that. The secret things belong it unto the Lord our God, but those things which are revealed belong it unto us and to our children forever, that we may do all the words of this law. Well, also because you have to think about history, past, present, future. The Bible repeats itself all the time, past, present, future. And if you cannot see the past, you cannot see where you're going. If you don't know where you come from. So now, with that particular thing, let's get into some actual history. So we see Lazarus, the rich man. We're getting an example of who this rich man is. We haven't let go of this rich man. Remember, he likes to expand himself. But again, Lazarus also means your own gente too. How many of our people sold out? You think that it was all because of them? No. Isaiah 28:14, wherefore hear the word of the Lord, ye scornful men, that ruled this people, which is in Jerusalem, right? Talking about Hebrews or Israelites here. I'm talking to you guys here, the people of this book. Verse 15, because ye have said, we have made a covenant with death, and with hell are we in agreement. When the overflowing scourges shall pass through, it shall not come unto us, rich man. For we have made lies our refuge, and under falsehood we have hid ourselves. You see, our own. Dealing with them, saying, nah, I'm not gonna get caught, bro. I'm gonna be good. I'm gonna give you one example of how this occurred. Now, again, this is history that a lot of us we didn't know all these things. You know what I mean? We didn't know. Hold on, let me bring this down. We didn't know this. Some of us did not, we had no clue, and we're not gonna get taught any of this here. So let me give you a little cartoon about our so-called leaders. I'll just say it for now. Our so-called leaders who made a covenant with death, meaning the other nations, meaning these thieves, who made an agreement and said, yeah, go ahead, man. I'm going to give you everything you want as long as you can let me have some of those crumbs, Mr. Rich Man. Let's go. Let me pause it right there so I can share with you this wonderful history. Again, past, present, future. The Most High will open up these secrets, sayings, understandings, connections, parables, the correlation of things, why it happens. So we see this picture of this woman, correct? And you see this right here, this demon with his fangs. He sold his people out, right? This represents our gente, the red, the white, and the green. Okay, so now this is from a book called The Harvest of an Empire. Okay, Harvest of an Empire, and I believe this is on page 42. Watch what it says here. This is very interesting. It says, the American land, and it goes, as historian Francis Jennings has noted, the American land was more like a widow than a virgin. Europeans did not find a wilderness here. Rather, however, involuntarily, they made one. So America, the American land, meaning us, because America is not them. Let's not get that confused. The American land was more like a widow than a virgin. So what do we see here? They sell our people out. And here's the interpretation of the weeping woman. Remember the weeping woman? Let's go. And the propaganda behind the push. Again, this is about selling yourself out, right? What did we read? We have made a covenant with death because ye have said, Isaiah 28:15, Telemundo, Univision, hey, do not tell people the truth. I will pay you money. Just promote what we want you to promote. I'm going to tell you this, family. In Mexico, all you could see was, for a long time, novelas, soccer, and the news, and movies every now and then. That's it. There was no Discovery. There was no Learning Channel. There was maybe cartoons every now and then here and there in the morning. Oh, yeah, and Chavo del Ocho and those shows, right? But that's it. They limited the amount of information that was provided to our people for a long time. We made a covenant with death, and with hell are we at agreement with Edom. The agreement of the propaganda. These elitists, the powerful people that had said, I'm going to rape and rob our gente. When the overflowing scourges shall pass through, it shall not come unto us. For we have made lies our refuge, and under falsehood we have hid ourselves, meaning America. Because the truth is coming out about how much destruction they've done. Let's go.
Principales, los diputados, padres federales, los senadores.
See, family, told you. I'm telling you right now. What does that say? We have made a covenant with death, and with hell are we at agreement. What just walked by? Hell.
In Mexico. I'm seeing the economy begin to be more broad-based in terms of prosperity, more inclusive in terms of including people. I see Mexico make some smart decisions. Tuition-free universities. Real change.
perfect example to understand their falsehood. And that we have leaders that are also rich men who feed off the crumbs of the rich men. And these are the dogs that encompass us and lick our sores. Here's a novela, here's soccer, here's a cheve, here's a caguama, güey. Don't worry about it, Holmes. No te preocupes, güey. Tenemos micheladas, there's going to be a party, quinceañera, you know what I'm saying? Hay unas parrandeadas, and that's all we need, bro. It's all good. No, man. You guys don't understand how deep this rabbit hole has been. Look, and now for the first time, we're actually getting these things being told to us in front of our, in front of us, and like nationally and internationally, and a lot of us don't give a shit though. But at least it's here for those that want to hear, right? Remember I read earlier. Let's go to it real quick, man, because I started with that one. So let's continue. Sirach 33:17. It says, "Consider that I labor not for myself only, but for all them that seek learning." So let's continue learning. Lord willing, it's edifying so far. Let me speed it up. Okay, let's go. Let's go to here, right here. All right. AMLO, the ex-president, he just stepped out this year. Or stepped down, well, you know what I mean? Chambao took over because she won. So now, look what he talks about. Look what he says. Matter of fact, let me do this. Let me put translation in English because he's speaking in Espanol. For you that watch that may not speak Spanish, check it out. Look what he says. Keep in mind of what we're talking about here. Don't lose sight of the class. When the border crossed us, and a lifetime and legacy of hate. I'm showing you some history. I'm going to give you more history. Let's go.
Antes, repito, aunque parezca disco rayado, estábamos en estado de indefensión. Los que controlaban los medios formaban la opinión pública. Acuérdense de la historia, lo que siempre cuento, de cómo los conservadores, después de la tragedia, después de que Santana entrega más de la mitad del territorio, después de ese gran zarpazo, se tiene que ir al extranjero, al exilio. Imagínense la tristeza del pueblo de México, la desolación, perder la mitad de nuestro territorio. Y todavía los conservadores deciden ir a buscarlo para que regrese. Y le escribe el ideólogo del conservadurismo, Lucas Alamán, una carta y le dice: no se preocupe, venga, nosotros manejamos la opinión general, porque tenemos el control de los principales periódicos de la capital y de los estados. Nosotros manejamos la opinión general, nosotros manejamos la opinión pública.
How they managed the propagandizing, the mentality, the way that our people thought, or what our people saw or learned or knew about ourselves. Let's continue.
A través de los medios. Estamos hablando de 1852. Aproximadamente 51, 52. Y ahí viene de regreso Santana a terminar de destruir al país, porque todavía vendió otro pedazo del territorio nacional y derrochó el dinero y se volvió en Alteza Serenísima, 11 veces presidente de México. Pero a lo que voy es el papel que tenía la prensa. Mucho antes de que Hitler con Goebbels acuñaran la frase de que una mentira que se repite muchas veces puede convertirse en verdad.
Isn't that the truth? You say it enough times, it becomes true. You say it enough times, it becomes true. So once again, who are these rich men? Habakkuk 2:6, it says, shall not all these take up a parable against him? He spoke about parables. Understanding. How do I prove that these people are who I'm talking about? I'll give you examples. I show connections in historical books in regards to who these people are. And they taunting property against him and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his, how long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay, as in, nothing will happen to me. The robbery. Do you think that the Most High is going to just blink, like, blink at that? Like, it's all good. You're my chosen? Do you guys really believe that? Christmas Christians, you guys really believe you're the chosen? Because I think people don't know that the way that this particular this land, sincerely, if you're saying you're Christians and you're about truth, well, you need to learn some truth about your history. That you guys are the real invaders, the original wetbags, the real murderers, thieves, liars, convicted felons. Till this day, you have broken the law. You are here illegally.
Arrebataron más de la mitad de nuestro territorio. Fue un gran zarpazo en la guerra de intervención de 1847-48. Llegaron hasta acá, arrebataron más de la mitad de nuestro territorio.
Estoy de acuerdo en pagar el muro que Trump propone, pero nos regresan a México, Arizona, Texas, California, parte de Utah, parte de Colorado. En el momento que saqué hizo un... Estoy de acuerdo en pagar el muro que Trump propone, pero nos regresan a México, Arizona, Texas,
Lo dijo
California.
claramente el presidente de ese país. A nosotros nos robó Estados Unidos 60% del territorio en una guerra ilegal, inmoral.
А что, разве у Мексики и у США не было никогда территориальных вопросов? А Калифорния кому принадлежала раньше? А Техас? Забыли, что ли?
¿Permitiría a Estados Unidos que hubiera armas soviéticas en cualquier punto del territorio nacional, por lejano que estuviera de Estados Unidos? No, no lo permitiría, nos invadiría de inmediato, como la derecha pretende, promueve, aplaude frente a cada declaración injerencista del gobierno de Estados Unidos en contra nuestra. Se les olvida que son representantes de los Estados Unidos mexicanos y no de los Estados Unidos a secas.
Another example of those that make a covenant with death, meaning the enemy, only for a buck. Only for a buck. And you know what? That's not uncommon. Look, I'll show you. It happened here too. The sickness of leadership. John 11:47 says this. It says, then gathered the chief priests and the Pharisees a council and said, what do we do? For this man doeth many miracles. If we let him thus alone, all men will believe on him, and the Romans shall come and take away both our place and the nation. So for you idiots that claimed the Jews killed the Mr. Jesus, and then that's why he opened the door for everyone. No, dumbasses. It was the heads who destroyed him because they didn't want to lose power. They made a covenant with death, and they thought that the Romans would protect them. Just the same way that you guys have. Donald Trump's going to protect me. El gringuito me va a proteger. You made a covenant with death, man. You dropped that ballot in. You called yourself what you are. I'm glad you're going to feel what you're going to see. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Did I mean to put that down? Give me a second. Let me look for something here. Hold on. Yeah, it was this one. My bad. Ezekiel 34:10. Thus say the Lord God, behold, I am against these shepherds, and I will require my flock at their hand, and cause them to cease from feeding the flock. Neither shall the shepherds feed themselves anymore. For I will deliver my flock from their mouth, that they may not be meat for them. So this is technically an example, a perfect example. Verse 1, and the word of the Lord said, and the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, prophesy against the shepherd of Israel, prophesy and say unto them, Thus say the Lord God unto the shepherd, Woe be to the shepherds of Israel that do feed themselves. Should not the shepherds feed the flock? Are you going to sell out on your own people? Ye eat the fat, and ye clothe ye with wool. Ye kill them that are fed, but ye feed not the flock. So you just porque quieres quedar bien con la gente, you're willing to sell yourself out for the devil to let down your people. I'll give you one example right now on how this young man's still going through it. I'll give you an example. Here he goes.
Council members, Vendita.
Own gente sold out over certain people. Let's go.
City council meeting.
Thank you. City Clerk, can you start reading public comments?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. We received two public comment cards. First speaker, if we can have Mr. Edin Enamorado to the microphone, and he will be followed by Ms. Daniela Martinez.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm here to tell the City Council that we are not afraid of you. Not one bit. What you did at the last City Council meeting that we were here, not only was it unconstitutional, but it was inhumane. I was arrested for going to the restroom. Marilyn, I'm not a fucking Trump supporter. City Council, it's sad that you're doing this to your own raza. We have fruit cart vendors that have all their permits getting their shit confiscated. We have a lunch truck on Florence that has all their permits, and you're painting the curb red. Wherever Rocio posts her lunch truck, you're painting the curb red all over Florence. And then you confiscated her van for 30 days with meat inside of it. When she picked it up, it was full of worms. It was disgusting. I should have had every single one of you clean it out. And then, after what happened at the last City Council meeting, you started raiding people's homes for no reason. Alleging that what? You received an email? It didn't come from any of us? Why, you're mad because we protested outside your house? We are exercising our First Amendment right. And maybe to the extent that you might not like. But I don't give a fuck if you don't like it. This is our rights and you're violating them. You are waking people up at 4, 3 in the morning, raiding their homes because we came to a City Council meeting and because we protested outside your house and you couldn't find shit. Right now you have one protester who you were trying to prosecute for criminal threats. You know what he's facing now? Foul language in the public space. How ridiculous the Huntington Park is acting like fascists or dictators. Yes. And going back to my arrest, it was just laughable. It's laughable that you arrested me for just getting up and using the restroom, especially after we had your back. Here, you guys all might talk and saying that we're too aggressive, but just wait for the next presidential election when you have fucking Proud Boys here coming over and taking over your City Council meeting, because the last time around, you asked for our help. We had your back. And what you're doing not only is a betrayal, but you're betraying your own raza. This is Huntington Park. Huntington Park, which is in the 40th Congressional District, which is the most Mexican district in the whole fucking country, and you're shutting down street vendors that even have their permits. You're shutting down lunch trucks that have their permits, painting their curb red. How ridiculous is that? I have no words to say. You're the only city that's doing this. Go to Cudahy. We allow vendors to sell. Why? Because we understand that the retail food code is in the gray area right now. It's in the gray area. You know Senate Bill 972 just passed. You know Senate Bill 946 passed in 2018 decriminalizing street vending. Why are you letting these restaurant owners or these property owners puppeteer you? Why? Because they're going to fund your next campaign? Is that why? Because you're scared to lose? You're scared to have this seat and this power trip that you're on? Is that what it is? Stop being vendidos. And stop betraying your raza. Seriously. And one last thing, like I said, we're not afraid of you. That's why we're back. You can raid my house. You can arrest me again. I don't give a fuck.
Thank you, Mr. Enamorado. Your time is up.
So we got those rich men too. We have them. They feed themselves. They feed themselves. Past, present, future has not changed. That's a sad situation with that man. And you want to know what's so funny? You guys go and arrest vendors that are working their ass off, but yet you don't want to arrest Morenos, so-called African American, so-called, right? Because you think it's racist. They're going into stores stealing, like literally, but yet you don't want to say shit about that because CNN, you know what I mean? That's offensive. But you rather arrest a vendor that's working to survive. Yeah, they persecuted him. The same thing that he said that they did to the other guy, they did. And you know what's so funny? He said, wait till the president, if he wins, Proud Boys are gonna go in there and start doing some shit. Well, guess what? He's probably right. So now I'm only gonna touch a little bit on this here. I'm gonna show you for like maybe a minute so you guys can get a little history. Once again, we got to go going on, and then we'll be done. All right, listen to this real quick. I'm gonna speed it up. I don't want to get stopped like the other night. And anyways, we're just gonna go about a minute here just to get an idea of what's going on. Let's go.
This continent has some of the most dramatic landscapes on the planet, from the ocean shorelines to the alpine mountains and the sandy deserts. And also in this landmass from coast to coast and everywhere in between, there lived hundreds, if not thousands of different nations, tribes of people whose land this was. This was their home. But then others showed up to these shorelines in their boats. And that is when everything changed. In the spring of 1803, two American politicians visiting Paris closed the sweetest real estate deal they had ever seen, with the simple stroke.
All right, so that's one example. Okay, just trying to give you guys an idea here, and then we're gonna go into this other one too, because it's just kind of it's giving you guys back when, but with different angles. Okay, and I kind of like this because I want you to focus on the years. The years. We're gonna study the years. Okay, let's go.
British Empire was colonizing all of this land, they drew a line. The line went right along this little mountain range, and it was meant as a boundary. Back in London, they were saying that no English settler was allowed to settle west of this line. The British Empire did this because they were worried that if settlers started to expand into the west, they would bring the British Empire into a war with native populations. They also didn't want to unnecessarily piss off France, who also had land in the west. So they told their settlers to settle, but not past this line. And then the settlers completely ignored it. These settlers would eventually declare independence from Britain and start their own country. And from there, the floodgates were open for westward expansion.
A frontier people had remade a continent. Virtually all productive land had been put to the plow. A free and independent way of life prevailed.
This
How the U.S. stole Mexico.
westward blitz was made possible through the mass slaughter of people who were living on this land, which this little time lapse ignores. How that all went down.
Pay attention to the timeline. I want you to pay attention to the timeline. Check this out. This is important. Okay, timeline's key, family. Timeline.
Who had remade a continent.
1830. Let's go.
Virtually all productive land had been put to the plow. A free and independent way of life prevailed.
This westward blitz was made possible through the mass slaughter of people who were living on this land, which this little time lapse ignores. How that all went down will be the subject of another video. But right now, I want to talk about what happened when the U.S. got here.
And the U.S. got there.
It's the mid-1800s, and the U.S. has 27 states and a bunch of territories.
Boom. He's talking about this territory here, right? That's part of the point. That's part of the point. And watch. Let me show you something. It's part of the point. Again, I don't want to go. Well, a matter of fact, I'll keep them here. I'll keep both of them here because I may come back to them in a little bit. My bad. Here. Right here.
I want to talk about what happened when the U.S. got here.
Hey, pause, bro. Shush it. Okay, so now, with that considered, let me give you some videos. I mean, some pages here. Okay, we're gonna go into. We got. Let's go to first. Let's go here. 12, 13, 15. All right. Okay. Actually, we read 15 already. So we're going to go to 7. Okay. This is from Occupied America, 3rd edition, page 7. Okay. Matter of fact, let me start. Let's see if I have this one over here. Give me a second. All right. Give me a second. Let me see. 42. We read that. 43. Okay. Here goes. We're going to read verse 43. I'm sorry, verse 43. Page 44. And then page 45. Okay. All right. So now that I have them in line, let me read page 7 first on Occupied America. It says here, I'm only going to read the highlighted parts. It says here, many settlers consider the native Mexicans to be the intruders in the dispute with Mexicans and Indians, as well as with Anglo-American settlers. Hayden Edwards arbitrarily attempted to evict settlers from the land before the conflicting claims to be sorted out by Mexican authorities. As a result, Mexican authorities nullified his settlement contracts and ordered him to leave territory. Edward and his followers seized the town of Nacogdoches, and on December 25th, 1826, remember, proclaimed the Republic of Fredonia. Mexican officials, supported by some Anglo-Americans, such as Steve Austin, suffocated the Edward revolt. However, many U.S. newspapers played up the rebellion as 200 men against a nation. You see this? Y'all love to boast about your bullshit and describe Edwards as his followers as the apostles of democracy crushed by an alien civilization. You see this? Who invaded who? Bro, Texas is not even your land and you're calling us aliens. This is exactly the stupidity of the Anglo. Yeah, y'all are dumb. When Mexican authorities refused the offer, the U.S. launched an aggressive foreign policy, meaning what? They wanted to buy Texas for $1 million. Okay? Check this out. Mexico could not consolidate its control over Texas. The number of Anglo-American settlers and the vastness of the territory made it impossible to task. Anglo-Americans had already created a privileged caste, which depended a great part on the economic advantages given to them by their slaves. You see this? We had abolished this shit already. But again, and when we hear the Anglo for now, we'll consider him the white man, but it wasn't just white people, family. It wasn't just white people that are doing this. When Mexico abolished slavery in September 1529, and Euro-Americans circumvented the law by freeing their slaves and like freeing en colmillas or quote unquote, and then signing them to lifelong contracts as indentured servants. See, the white man resented the Mexican order and considered it an infringement on their personal liberties. Really, you are in our land. This is why you guys got to get kicked out of Mexico. And trust and believe that if they start sending us back there, I'll be the first one to kick y'all out. I'll be the first ones. And I'm going to get rid of the old ones first. So some of you old people, you better start running and packing right now because I'm coming down there. In 1830, Mexico prohibited further Anglo-American immigration. Prohibited. Why? Because they were still enslaving people. You see, the white and black way in America in this time was to enslave people. It wasn't just the white man family. Anglo colonists refused to pay customs and actively supported smuggling activity. So who are the real smugglers? When you don't know your own history, you will let these idiots talk over you and actually make you believe that you are submissive than them. And when you look back and reflect, they're just a bunch of cockroaches hanging on to a made-up fucking history that never happened. Houston's motivation was to bring Texas into the U.S. Now, keep in mind that these maneuvers, these things that occurred, right? These actions that took place, like we can go by these books and then read and learn and kind of like, okay, yeah, it says this and that, but you know what I mean? Our people also contributed to it. Well, yes and no. Because I made this video, okay? And I'm not going to play it after this. This is only this class. But I did do this class probably close to maybe 10 months ago, okay? and it was talking about who was involved in the sale of these lands, right? The class is called, and I don't remember it, to be honest with you. I'm looking for it right now. Oh, no, not that one. Not that one. I thought it was that one. Give me a second. The scam. Oh, here it goes right here. I think it's this one. This is definitely one of them. Yeah, the scam of Guadalupe Hidalgo. Claro que vienes de ahí. In this one, I go into some examples. Actually, you know what? That's not the one that I think I did a more informative one. Let me see it real quick. Just give me a second, fam. Let me see what it was. What was it called? It was a guy's name. What was his name? Samuel or Juan? Man, I've done so many classes. Be patient with me. I wanna present this to you guys. I don't want to forget about this because I think it'll help you go back into. Was it taken off? Nah, are you serious? Bro, they took the class off? Holy shit. Did they remove this class? Nah, I don't believe they removed this class. There's no way they couldn't remove this class, dude. Like, I don't think I had anything in it. This is nuts, family. I guess I'm gonna have to go back to this because it's not here. I did a class on this topic, and it was called. It was regarding the Freemasons were involved in the sale of the lands as well. Okay, and I showed proof, material, actual documentation, how they were making decisions and behind closed doors. Here, right here, that's it. This is it right here. This is it. It's up here. So I did this class because I got into some material. I'm not going to play it, but I would invite you to come watch this one here. The root of the Mexican War in 1848. Okay, so it's 2.5 hours long. I would highly suggest skip some sections or speed up to certain areas, but this is where the meat is right here. Starts around right here, goes the way through, or right around here. When I start talking about it, around here, the middle section. Okay, and I get into who was involved in the sales and how they make maneuvers and stuff like that. So again, the rest of the class is informative too, but where you're going to get most of the information, it's going to be like between the 1 hour to about the 1:45 hour. Okay, but yeah, 1:45. That's like kind of about 35 minutes out of it is basically talking about this point, the book. Okay, so I don't want you to miss that because I think it's important. Okay. Now, that said, Anglo colonists refused to pay customs and actively supported smuggling activities. When the war party rioted in Anahuac in December 1831, it had the popular support of Anglos. One of its leaders was Sam Houston, who was a known prodigy of Andrew Jackson, now president of the United States. Houston's motivation was to bring Texas into the U.S., basically. What was their rationale? This is on page 13, I believe. Yes. The rationale was what? Manifest Destiny had its roots in Puritan ideas, which continue to influence Anglo-American thought to this day. According to the Puritan ethic, salvation is determined by God. The establishment of the city of God on earth is not only the duty of those chosen people, predestined for salvation, but is also the proof of their state of grace, really. You see, family, you see the wickedness of these people, the nerve of them to actually stay behind and claim to be the God's chosen. The God's chosen, so they say. Believe that God had made them custodians of the democracy and that they had a mission. That is, that they were predestined to spread its principles. Which ones? As a young nation survived in its infancy, established its power in defeat of the British in the War of 1812, expanded westward, by the way, this is a good date to touch on, expanded westward and enjoyed both commercial and industrial success. Its sense of mission heightened. Many citizens believed that God had destined them to own and occupy all the land from ocean to ocean and pole to pole. Their mission, their destiny made manifest, was to spread the principle of democracy and Christianity, celebrating Christmas, right? And then, priests having, relations with certain little people that they shouldn't. To the unfortunates of the hemispheres by dismissing the war simply as part of the era of the manifest destiny, the apologists for the war, ignorance of the consequence of doctrine. Basically what Christians love to do. What Christians love to do. You see what I mean? So that's page 13. Now let's go to page 12. The invasion of Mexico. In the mid-1840s, Mexico was again the target. Expansion and capitalist development moved together. Remember the Christians, right? These God-fearing people. Capitalist expansion. The two Mexican wars gave U.S. commerce, industry, mining, agriculture, and stock raising a tremendous stimulus. The truth is that by 1840, the Pacific coast belonged to the commercial empire that the United States had already building in that ocean. Was already building in that ocean. The U.S. population of 17 million people of European extraction, 3 million slaves, was considerably larger than Mexico's 7 million, of which 4 million were Indian, 3 million mestizo, and European. The U.S. acted arrogantly in foreign affairs, partly because its citizens believed their own cultural and racial superiority. Yep, children of God, huh? Mexico was plagued with financial problems, internal ethnic conflicts, and poor leadership. General anarchy within the nation conspired against its cohesive development, meaning get in the way, create obstacles, make snares, make sure they don't progress. Why? Because we want that land. This is basically, this whole book, this whole page here talks about the land that they wanted. 150 miles, 1 million acres, family. Christians think they're going to get away with this history. They're not going to get away with it. Harvest of an Empire, right? We're going to go to page... matter of fact, let's go to page 30... Yeah, let's go to this one. Page 43. The Harvest of Empire. What is Manifest Destiny? Well, it says on page 43, proponents of Manifest Destiny saw Latin Americans as inferior in cultural makeup and the merit of democratic institutions. Our country's Calvinist beliefs reinforce their territorial ambition perfectly. Calvinists, Protestants, Christians, Catholics, you see what I'm saying? All the same, fake Jews, all that shit. Our country's Calvinist belief reinforce those hold on a second, family. Who's the city right here? Yeah, that's basically human history. All right, so what you got to say, Mr. Realms? Mr. White Jesus Lover? Mr. Pedophile? What are you here to show? Are you Anglo-Saxon? Is that what you're offended by? You like to worship Jesus at night with your pink underwears? Is that what you do? Are you going to come here and try to illuminate us with your illuminated mindset of Anglo-ishness? Oh, I see. So now you're quiet. Fucking idiots. Anyways, let's go. It says in newspapers, I'm sorry, hold on a second. It says Americans could point to the nation's prosperity, to its amazing new networks of canals, steamboats, and railroads as proof of their God-given destiny to conquer the frontier. Good old Christians, right? Supposedly the ones that claim John 3:16, that God loves everybody, but they came with a sword. Even though they claimed the laws were done away with, that the Messiah showed love to them. But here they come with the sword. Did the Messiah teach you guys to be this way with a sword, or what's the deal? Hey, look, you see what I mean? Like, check it out. See, the spirit really, look, there you go, right here. See, I love this shit. See, fucking Redskin. I love you, racist bastards, bro. You just proved my point. You make my job easy. You see, this is how stupid you are. This is how dumb you are. You don't know this channel. So let me educate you with the Bible, because I think you believe you're a Christian. So since you Christians think you read the Bible, let me show you how you don't know the Bible. Okay. It says here, Sirach 11:7, blame not before thou has examined the truth. Understand first, then rebuke. So before you go assume something, anchor baby, okay? Before you go assume something, who says I'm talking about, what do you talk about Israel? Who is Israel? Who is Israel to you? You mean the other fake chosen people? Like the ones that you claim to be too? The chosers? Are you the chosen too? Because you guys believe you're the chosen. They believe they're the chosen. What the fuck are you talking about? You're no different than them. And those people are not different than you. The so-called Israelis are just white like you, Mr. White Man. And I'm proud to be a redskin. You damn right. Now I'm more beautiful than that. Because I can make all kinds of beautiful babies. Y'all can't. You just make pale that skin. And then you can see your blood veins running through. And the sun burns you when you want to enjoy it. So who belongs here? Blame thou not before thou has examined the truth. This is not a channel about that right there. You're in the wrong channel for that. So why don't you sit back and learn? Maybe you'll learn a little bit about your Caucasian race. To the Caucasian race, I'm sorry, it says, let me go back to this. Let's see. So these guys basically said who propounded the superiority of white Europeans over Indians, blacks, and Mexicans. The Caucasian race is the world indebted for all the great and important discoveries, bullshit, inventions, yeah, right, and improvements that have been made in science and art. Give me a fucking shit. You guys came here not knowing how to shower, how to brush your teeth. Till this very day, Europeans, you guys don't even fucking scrub your ass. You guys don't even use toilet paper. The majority of you guys leave your underwears all full of shit. Your own women talk about that. I know that hurts your feelings, but those are facts. And matter of fact, the first time you guys landed here in the British in the 1600s, you guys couldn't make it. You started eating your own people. You were actually digging your own people and cooking yourselves. Shit, you one of those people that undug his own wife and started eating her private parts. Yeah, that's you guys. That's you guys right there. You cannibals. You barbarians. You don't know your own history, Mr. Caucasian. I think it's time that you indebt yourself into your own history so then you can stop walking on this superiority concept or complex, because the end for you is today. Whatever in history of the world, the inferior races have been conquered and mixed, and the Caucasian, the latter, have sunk into barbarism. You want to know something? I'm going to show you guys something real quick. And this is the thing about white folks. They hate to know that without the Moreno, they couldn't do shit. Those are facts. The so-called African American helped the white man conquer these lands too, but that's something the white man don't want to accept because they're afraid of them. You guys are afraid of them. That's just the way you guys deal with them. You're a weaker nation by spirit. It's just sad that you think in flesh too much of yourself. You see, again, the whole point of this class is to prove this point here. And once again, we get an example of the spirit. When the border crossed us, a lifetime and legacy of hate. What did he say? What did he say to me before brother called him an anchor baby? Right? Which is fair. It's fair. Spade is spade. A fucking redskin, right? Lifetime and legacy of hate. That's called pain. It's called pain. Hey, look. That's what you think. Natives were killing each other over lands. Really? That's all you can say? That's it? That's your little emotional, like, effeminate laugh? What are you, 12? I can tell you don't read. Natives were killing each other over lands. What are you talking about, man? Europeans were raping each other left and right. What happened to you guys in the Black Plague? What happened to Europe? You guys didn't even have an actual functioning plumbing system. What are you talking about? Who in reality is a beast of the field? You guys had no plumbing system. You were shitting in your streets. You drank your own shit. What are you talking about? You're saying we were killing each other. You guys were killing each other too. Who got expelled from over there? The only reason you guys came over here was because you guys were dying over there. There was no resources. And like I said, when you came here the first time, which I showed it in the class in the 1600s, Jamestown, a little bit up north of Jamestown, a lot of you guys got here. You thought you're gonna make it. You're too lazy. You thought the Indians were gonna take care of you. And then what ended up happening? You started eating yourselves. You are the real cannibalists. So technically, we helped you guys out. Hey, look. You have no argument. You're so emotional. Medieval Europe was developed. Really? When? Due to our knowledge. And by the way, you haven't developed, man. You guys still don't know how to wash your asses. You guys don't even shower. You guys shower maybe once a month. This is what I hear about you guys. And your women always complain about you men that you don't wash your ass or wipe your ass. You don't use toilet paper. You guys just get up and go. That's what you guys were doing. But again, let me get to my point. Also included in the 1848 treaty was the crucial 150-mile wide Nueces Strip between the Rio Grande and Nueces River. The U.S. negotiators demanded its inclusion as part of Texas despite the fact that Spain, and later Mexico, considered the strip part of Coahuila Province because it was a tribe there. The Nueces, which is equal in size to the present Massachusetts, Connecticut, and New Jersey combined, was specially important because it included fertile lower Rio Grande valleys, and because the plains north of the valley were teeming with wild horses and cattle. The herds introduced by Spanish settlers in 1700 numbered more than 3 million heads by 1830. Securing control of those herds and of the original Spanish land grants in the region soon produced vast fortunes for early Anglo settlers like Charles Tillman, Richard King, and Mufflin Kennedy. Richard King, which, by the way, is the reason why you have the what's that called? The Ranch King or King Ranch, where all the murderous stuff happened. It's all connected. It's all making sense. The only reason they have the upper hand is through deception. Never by strength. It's always through deception. Never by strength. Now, they'll feel superior if they have a gun on you, but hand-to-hand combat, nation against nation, y'all don't have no chance whatsoever. If you would then call the so-called black man to help you, because that's what you Caucasians love to do. You can't do nothing without them, and I'm going to show you because they helped you. They helped you take Texas. You feel so proud. It wasn't just white people. Here, look. We came to America, and look at us now. We developed. Who is this we? Wait. What did you develop? What did you develop? We developed the land. We conquered, considering Redskins couldn't get organized. Really? Do you even know what occurred here? You have no idea of the civilization that we had. So this is why you are what we call a right-wing idiot. Go back to your mommy and tell her to wash your underwears. Go celebrate your Christmas religion. We don't need your stupidity here. Or if you want to stick around and learn. Maybe you'll realize how insignificant you guys really are, and how deceitful your nation is. And the only reason you got ahead was by deception. You said that, we came and developed what? You mean developed by thievery? The only way you even know about medicinal shit is because you got it from here. The only way you know about actual plumbing and all of these measurements was because you got it from here. Mr. White Man, you were not very bright. When the Europeans conquered your ass up in Europe in the 7-11, you guys were in decimate state of mind. Everything that you've learned, you have not developed yourself. You got it by people of skin tone, not by you. Let's continue. Page 45. I'm making a point of this because I'm going to show you something really interesting. Texas, however, was not the richest prize of the war with Mexico. California was. From the early 1800s, New England sea captain who reached the Pacific sent back glowing reports of the far-off Spanish colony. Within a year, California's non-Indian population rocketed to 20,000, from 20,000 to 100,000, overwhelming the original Mexican inhabitants, who numbered only about 13,000 in the territory, several 100,000 Indians. So we also see the conquistadors trying to migrate to the west. So with that considered, let's talk about this for a moment, because a lot of you guys don't know what this. And I thought it was an excellent point to bring up now, especially with these, with these indentured servants. These are these slaves that are walking around speaking, without authority. You guys can enjoy your space right now. Again, this is the perfect class in regards to Lazarus and the rich man. You see, right now, I'll give you an example. The realm thinks he's a rich man. We develop. We got power. Yeah. You guys ain't shit. Cool. Sounds good. It brings my point. Lazarus, the rich man, so proud, so dignified, as if he did anything. He probably receives welfare on disability. And his wife probably left his ass. And his kids have no respect for him. Let's listen to this.
Thing is that there are points that need to be, things that need to be done. And a lot of that has to do with land back for Native Americans, sovereignty, and honoring, because they didn't honor the treaties that they had with our people to begin with after the Mexican-American War. They stole a lot of land. I did a video, and I don't know if you've seen it, on the King Ranch, and the King Ranch Ford Edition. And the King Ranch is the biggest ranch in the United States and one of the biggest ranches in the world. This ranch is made up of primarily stolen land that was stolen from Mexicans after the Mexican-American War because the United States did not honor that treaty.
Once again, when people like this idiot here speak without knowing, you see, you guys deceived everything. You don't have anything with honor. You didn't gain anything by honor, by sincere hard work. No, not at all. You stole, you robbed, and you raped your way through it. If you think that's credit, you want to get respect for being an animal, you're in the wrong channel. You're in the wrong channel for that. Go run to your Proud Boys. Tell them I'm here. They're invited to debate me any day. Let's go.
All right, what's up next on Refusing to Forget site? This.
Prominent politicians proposed putting all of those of Mexican descent into concentration camps and killing any who refused. For a decade, people would come across skeletons in the South Texas brush, marked with execution-style bullet holes in the back of their skulls.
In the book written by Refusing to Forget co-founder,
Style.
Let me read that. I thought he was going to read it. From far being surreptitious. Sorry, first time I really read that word in a while. The violence was welcomed, celebrated, and even instigated at the highest level of society and government. As thousands fled to Mexico and decapitated bodies floated down the Rio Grande, one Texas paper spoke of a serious surplus population that needs eliminating. Is that what you're talking about, Realm? Your so-called development? This is your whole little superiority and shit. What was it that you said earlier, supposedly that we were killing each other? How stupid do you feel now? These are murderers, family. That's what I'm telling you. Who are the real terrorists? Prominent politicians propose putting all those Meshiacha descents into concentration camps. Past, present, future. Past, present, future. And killing any who refused. What are they talking about? Rounding up people and putting them in concentration camps. Isn't there land in Texas right now available, 1,400 square feet, that they're preparing for concentration camps? For a decade, people would come across skeletons in the South Texas brush, marked with execution-style bullet holes in the backs of their skulls. That's the nation that you're proud of, Realm. You continue to be as white as you want to be. Go ahead, Mr. Rich Man. Boast about how rich you are. Boast about all the land and rape and robbery and murder that your people have done. Go ahead, Mr. Rich Man, because you're proving my class. Again, a lifetime and legacy of hate. When you created a border that crossed us. We never invited you here in the first place. If you were so great, why didn't you develop Europe? If you were so great of a nation, why didn't you stay in Europe and develop your nation? Because you guys weren't doing shit over there. And only until the 1800s were you able to develop a plumbing system. What are you talking about? And what the hell did you contribute? Let's continue. I'm having fun with his ass.
In the back of their skulls.
In the book written by Refusing to Forget co-founder Dr. Ben Johnson, we find the source of this story, a newspaper article about the border troubles, concentration camps, and Robert Kleberg. Robert J. Kleberg was not a prominent politician, nor was he any kind of politician. He was the manager of the King Ranch. It would be the next generation of Klebergs who entered politics. So we'll forgive Dr. Johnson that error. Now, as for Kleberg's proposed concentration camps, here's that. In an article written by a reporter for the St. Louis Dispatch, I want you to remember that, published in the Brownsville Herald, Kleberg is quoted as saying that Mexicans who couldn't account for their presence on the border should be moved temporarily to camps where they'd be put to work clearing brush along the banks of the Rio Grande, where bandits often secreted themselves, coming and going to raids. Once order was restored to the border, they would be set at their liberty. At no point is Kleberg quoted as saying that those who refuse should be killed, as Refusing to Forget claim. So, not on their website, but worthy of note, in Dr. Johnson's book on this time period, he claims Kleberg...
Let me read that. Kleberg felt that such a plan would also protect Tejanos from arbitrary violence. One injustice which is done to a Mexican, he stated, is to assume that guilt runs in consanguinity. When a certain man who is discovered to have taken part in a bandit's raid is captured or killed in such a raid, his brothers, half-brothers, and brother-in-law are assumed to be guilty and are immediately arrested or killed. Now, who is Kleberg or Kleberg? We're going to run into his name right now. But let's continue with this vein.
The Texas Rangers have long been romanticized as frontier guardians. There is a grim undertone to their history and legacy since their inception in 1823. Founded by Stephen Austin, the Texas Rangers were no strangers to violence, often dealing it out with no regard for human life. They were known to have persecuted Native Americans and Mexicans with an unsettling level of impunity. Their involvement with the enforcement of slavery and the constant pursuit of runaway slaves further tarnishes their legacy. The Texas Rangers might be better seen as instruments of white supremacy. They led numerous massacres against Native American tribes, including the extermination of the Karankawas. They also completely destroyed Cherokee settlements in eastern Texas and led a genocidal campaign in removal of the Comanches from Texas territory. The Texas
Funny how Realm said, "Why when we were here, we were killing each other." Oh, I don't see you doing anything different. And you know, it's funny because you guys still continue to kill each other. Your children are destroyed. Your young men are debauchery. Your women don't even want to be with men anymore. You are a destroyed nation of people. Why? Because of your pride and your perpetual wickedness and perpetual hatred for the real children of the Most High. That burns your spirit. It's okay. I hope it does, because you will never, ever have it like you had it before. You will never rule again. This is your last rodeo. Enjoy it.
Texas Rangers were the bad men.
It's a century-old story passed on by word of mouth.
They just felt like they had the privilege.
Melba Cootie spent her entire life on a mission to share her family's story, telling anyone who would listen. This is one of her last interviews with a news crew.
My great-grandfather and my great-uncle came by to report some stolen horses. The Texas Rangers had been spending the night and resting there, and they just camped out in their Model T Ford and stuck their head out the window and shot them.
Melba's family story and others like hers never made it to the pages of our school history books. Melba made sure to pass the story on to her daughter, Christine Melise.
Mataron tres mexicanos, esos rinches de Laredo. Cuando llega.
You know, my mother passed away in March, and now I feel like I'm the one that needs to start telling the story again. He was...
Christine Melise, the daughter of Melba, is stepping into her mother's shoes. She now carries the torch as the family historian, lighting the way for those who know nothing about South Texas' dark, brutal history, the years between 1910 and 1920, known as La Matanza, the massacre.
Back then, it was just you're a Mexican, you're on our lands, we're shooting you. You don't belong here, we don't want you here.
We're about to show you the graphic violence captured in historical images. It may be hard for some to see. It was the era of the Mexican Revolution. Racial violence along the Texas-Mexico border erupted, following tensions between new Anglo settlers and Mexican landowners. Hundreds, some believe thousands, of Mexicans and Mexican Americans were lynched and shot, all at the hands of vigilantes and law enforcement, specifically the Texas Rangers, who had been called in to protect the region from outsiders.
You see the whole lynching part? Okay, so now check this out. This is from the lynching of Mexicans in the Texas borderland. On page 33, it reads, Juan Crow in Texas. The segregation of ethnic Mexicans in Texas occurred as early as the late 19th century. Initially, segregation appeared in residential districts of Texas cities, which featured an African-American section of town, a Mexican quarter, and the remaining area for the white population. But late 19th century, for the Edomites, right? Ethnic Mexicans were encouraging segregation in public institutions such as schools, restaurants, and schools. Schools began following Jim Crow practices in most Texas cities by dividing into all Mexican, all black, and all white schools. By the early 20th century, Anglo businesses posted signs in such warnings, no Mexicans and dogs allowed. I'm sure Brown was probably the first one to post that shit on his wall. Anglo-Texans redoubled their efforts to segregate those seen as non-white. Mexican Americans in Texas were especially offended. Their determination to protest inclined them to emphasize the American, quote-unquote, dimensions of their identity rather than the Mexican, quote-unquote, dimension. You see, that's what happens, but then you go too far, and you just end up hating your own gente, and you vote for Donald Trump. That's what happens. They also emphasized that they were white by law. Thus, Anglos in Texas had no right to impose segregationist ordinance and practice upon them. Really? See what I mean? Lamentations. You're hoping for a nation that will not save you, to save you. Let's continue.
Some of the historical images show Rangers posing with ropes tied to bodies.
They're buried here because this is where they were killed.
The Texas Rangers shot Jesus Bazan and Antonio Longoria on September 27, 1915, in this very spot. It's now their resting place on a rural South Texas road.
Back then, it was like a hush-hush. You know, you kill them, leave them dead, don't speak.
Hey, look, hey, he's still here. Look, he's still here. Yeah, it's self-hate. I'm pretty sure it's self-hate. A lot of you white people hate each other. You self-hate each other and shit. Don't you go and commit murder and suicide? What about the little white girl that just shot her school up? She hates herself. She killed a teacher and a so-called Hispanic person. I don't know if it's indigenous, but she had Hispanic last name. So then she killed herself. A week prior, the same thing. A white boy like you went into a school and shot a school. Who has real self-hate? Shit, you guys are dying of fentanyl overdose. Nobody forced you guys to do drugs. You could just say no. You tell black people to say no. You tell Hispanic people to say no. But you guys can't say no to each other? Oh, you're gonna blame somebody else. That's how weak you guys are. You blame other people about all your problems instead of saying, we got a problem. No, it's they. They took my job. Oh, it's because of they that society is bad. Or because of they that we're dying of overdose. No, it's because you guys are just nasty ass fucking self-inflicted people. Talk about self-hate. You're a perfect example.
Speak of it, because who wants to think that law enforcement just randomly shoots people and leaves them to die?
100 years ago, innocent Mexican Americans were labeled bandits. Being labeled a bandit made anyone a target.
San Antonio paper said, we're no longer going to report the killing of Mexicans because it's so common, it's not news anymore.
Trinidad Gonzalez has a deep connection to the tragedy of La Matanza. Los Rinches, as the Rangers would soon be called, killed his great-grandfather and great-great-grandfather in front of his grandmother.
She was actually a few yards away when they killed her husband and her father-in-law. She was lucky she was able to bury them.
Trinidad says hateful rhetoric is a precursor to actions that have continued in today's.
Hey, I bet you Realm enjoys this, huh? You enjoy this murder. I bet you love seeing people like our people being destroyed. You see, there you go. I tell you what, you want so-called Mexicans to hate themselves, right? But you want to know what I noticed about you, bro? You would be happy for this to happen. You would be happy for this to happen. Let's continue.
Texas. He saw the shooter shoot. The El Paso massacre in 2019 left 23 people dead and 26 injured. The 21-year-old shooter drove across the state, fueled by hate against Hispanics.
When you have rhetoric that dehumanizes a group of people, then it's very easy to take the next step towards the action of mistreating those people.
In an effort to prevent any other racist-fueled tragedies and never forget a key moment in their history, markers have been erected throughout South Texas, all thanks to an organization called Refusing to Forget. It was founded in 2014 by a group of professors who wanted to inform the public of the state-sanctioned anti-Mexican violence. Trinidad Gonzalez is a co-founder.
The Matanza marker, which is the one we thought would get rejected, was the first one actually accepted.
Overall, 4 markers sit across South Texas, documenting the turbulent time that has never been written about.
Hey, Trumpet Sword, go create your own channel and post some fucking dumbass scriptures and shit that people are never gonna read. You're like, you might as well just say read chapter this, read chapter that. You like put a lot of verses and it doesn't make any sense. Another Christmas Christian that wants to supposedly educate people with verses and snapshots of some shit. Revelation 13, 1 through 18, make sure you read that. Revelation 11 and 1 through 13, make sure you read that. Okay, so then what? What? Self-education? Is that what it is? What if the people don't know what the hell is Revelation even saying? God. Go read your John 3:16, man. You're making a joke of yourself.
Until Refusing to Forget was created. To this day, these days.
Here's a beautiful part, family. These damn Christmas Christians, they come over here, right, for some attention, and I'm playing a video about the shit that they do, and they want to bring the Bible. Oh, read this verse. Forget about the history. Forget they did that. Oh, everybody, we love each other. God loves everybody, but he's the first one to vote for Donald Trump to supposedly deport murderers, and they want to give us Bible, and we tell them who the murderer is, and they want to give us Bible. Bro, you guys are just a dumbass nation of people. Put the book down, bro. It don't belong to you.
Deadly attacks are still unknown to many, including myself. I never learned about this in school.
I grew up down here and they were not.
Associate Professor of History at UTRGV, George Diaz, says he didn't find out about this either until he was in grad school.
As a question I often ask my students, and I think it's because that story was purposely omitted from our textbooks.
Diaz says he became a historian and author because he was curious about the history of his hometown. He was unsatisfied with the stories he was told in school.
A lot of the histories of this area have not been written, and it's not until someone starts asking questions and starts composing those narratives that we have books about it.
Members of Refusing to Forget are doing just that. Some have written books, scholarly articles, and even curated an exhibit at the Bob Bullock Museum in 2016. At the moment, they're trying to apply for grants to put together a traveling exhibit, among other long-term goals.
The state of Texas needs to pass legislation creating a Truth and Reconciliation Commission to have a clear airing out of this history for the state of Texas, because we're never going to get to reconciliation until we have a truthful telling of the Texas Ranger Force from 1835 to at least 1980.
Until then,
in her memory, I want to keep it going.
These stories will continue to be told from one generation to the next, so it's remembered always.
So it's remembered always. These are the things that we should not forget. The horrific treatment of our people. All of a sudden, now it's okay. Let's go back to the point.
But the thing is that there are points that need to be, things that need to be done. And a lot of that has to do with land back for Native Americans, sovereignty, and honoring, because they didn't honor the treaties that they had with our people to begin with after the Mexican-American War. They stole a lot of land. I did a video, and I don't know if you've seen it, on the King Ranch and the King Ranch Ford edition. And the King Ranch is the biggest ranch in the United States and one of the biggest ranches in the world. This ranch is made up of primarily stolen land that was stolen from Mexicans after the Mexican-American War.
If you remember the books that I showed you, how important all those lands were. There was so much cattle, minerals, all sorts of things, right? So this is what he's talking about right here. So this right here. This is a Texas King Ranch mystery, it says, right? So it goes, hold on a second. What does it say? It says, in Willacy County, which lies almost at the southern tip of Texas, Luther Blanton, 57, and his son John, 24, were duck hunting one day, a fortnight ago. They went only a little distance from their own land, but they crossed the fence to get to a lagoon in the Great King Ranch. They should not have done that. King Ranch compromises 1.2 or 1,250,000 acres, 4/5 the size of Delaware, and belongs to the Clayburghs, who inherited it from grandfather Richard King, who founded it before the Civil War. With their 125,000 head of Ranch Santa Gertrudis cattle, with 500 Mexican vaqueros as retainers, they ran their ranch practically as a state of their own, independent of Texas officialdom. No state highway has been allowed to cross the King Ranch. Further to protect their privacy, the Clayburghs have had many miles of their lands made into a state game preserve. Really? Now, who is this bastard? Let's find out who this bastard is. Not you. This guy here. That guy. The story starts in mid-1830s, right? So this guy was a Confederate, in case you don't know. Now, here, in case you don't know, here, I'm going to show you guys a little Wikipedia stuff, basic stuff. Who are these people? See, Kleber was a German Texan, then part of the Kingdom of Prussia. The eagle that hasted to eat. He was a veteran of the Battle of San Jacinto and brother of Louis Clayburgh. He arrived in Texas 1836 with his wife Philippine Sophie Rosalie Rosa von Roeder. Rosa, who was a child of the one-time aristocratic von Roeder family. You see this, fam? This is who they are. This dude is a Confederate. See? Was a riverboat captain, Confederate. Oh, it just gets better and better and better. Gets better and better and better. That's who these guys are. So again, this story about the King Ranch is a deep, deep story because it actually goes into the basically the confirmation that these lands were taken from our people. Check this out. Give me a second. Let me see if I can read this real quick before they try to block me. Let's see. The topic is Galen Air sues Texas over alleged 1870 seizure of Spanish land grants. See? After the Comanche raids ended in Spanish King's ambition for a thriving city along the Rio Grande, Palafox seemed like a place where very little to offer. Unforgiving stretches of rocky land stretched from thousands of acres with little water for those who venture from their riverbanks. The land was pretty inhospitable. So that's what he's talking about, right? So here it says, those minerals recently led more than 600 heirs of Joaquin Gallant, who received the massive Palafox land grant from the Spanish crown more than 2 centuries ago, to approach the state of Texas with unusual requests. What was it? The Gallant family trust contends that state illegally took possession of the lands in 1870. Only a few years after the governor had endorsed the family claim to the tract, the state still owns about 40 acres. The state still owns about 40 acres of land northwest of Laredo, according to Gallant heirs, who say they are entitled to the mineral revenue the state has been collecting for years, if not decades. The discussion had been cordial, and the state is still considering research into the situation that is rooted in the era where the sovereign flag flying over Texas changed numbers of times, says Maria Garza, a spokeswoman for the Garza family, the Gallant family trust. The family had filed a lawsuit to ensure its interests are protected. What happened? Then it says that, hold on. Trending different ground. Spanish land. Okay, that's another point. Da, 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 da. Here, but it says here, your land may have been stolen, but it was a long time ago. And proving it with right documents are really difficult. Said Lance Brunn, a South Texas oil and gas attorney, who was last year chaired a committee created by legislators to sort through a specific type of claim about Spanish land grant inheritance. Funny, you people that like to keep records, all of a sudden you can't keep those records, huh? How convenient. What does that say? If you have land and you don't own the mineral rights, you can still drill on your land or something you can do about it. They probably could. I don't know. I just find it interesting how it's a 141-year-old mystery. Garza, a McDonald's corporate trainer who lives in Dallas, said that she is an 8th-generation descendant of Joaquin Galan. She said the family, after research into what its ancestors had insisted was rightful claim, began compiling evidence in 1940 but ran out of money. Yeah, I believe it. But again, it's stolen land. Stolen land. For more than a decade, the Bali family of South Texas claimed that in court that a New York lawyer had swindled them out of the rights to South Padre Islands in 1930. A jury sided with the Balis, but the Texas Supreme Court ruled in 2008 against the family, deciding that their suit had run afoul of the state of limitations. Wow, you racist bitch. You guys deserve what's coming to you, man. I don't have no pity for what's going to happen to you with you and your whole, your whole little group of things, whether young or old. It don't matter to me. Don't matter. So now, this is for you, Realm. In case you want to know, I mean, you guys, this is for you Edomites that you're so proud. You think you're conquerors. That it was only white people that did this, and that you know what I'm saying. That sorry, family. Let me log in. Real quick. All right, here we go. You guys can email me if you want. That's my email. I don't care. I don't hide it. But anyways, here we go. So, Mr. White Man, if you think you're so superior, I'm gonna show you exactly how this all occurred to you. Okay? Because it's an unfortunate situation. It's an unfortunate situation that you guys think you really had that kind of clout. Nah, you were just a tool. God just used you as a tool. Nothing more, nothing less. We're going to go into, let's see, we'll go into, by the way, the name of the book, you guys saw the name. My bad. The African Americans, Many Rivers Crossed. So, and by the way, if you guys are new to this channel, in this channel we talk facts, so get your feelings out the way. You know what I mean? I bring out the way things are. I read and I express what I share what I read, and some people don't like it. Well, get in line. So let's go into this right here, because some of these confused Europeans really think they did it themselves, and that's far from the truth. It says, if not all the first explorers and conquerors of New Spain were European, it is equally important and surprising to many of us, to note that not all the first Africans who assisted the Spanish and Portuguese came as slaves. An untold number of free people of African descent, black conquistadors born in Africa or in the Iberian Peninsula, when in 711 AD, right, they went up to Europe, conquered people like Realm, treated them like little bitches and shit, put them in check real quick, because, they're usually weakling like that and afraid. And unless they have guns, then they're brave. An untold number of free people of African descent, black conquistadors born in Africa or in the Iberian Peninsula, also accompanied Spanish conquistadors such as Hernán Cortés and Ponce de León, two of the famed explorers of the vast region that would become modern Mexico and the western and southern regions of the U.S. And as we expect, their exploits were just as heroic and just as problematic as those of their fellow conquistadors. But far from African came with the Spanish and Portuguese as slaves, But far more Africans came with the Spanish and Portuguese as slaves, servants with varying degrees of freedom, attendant and armed adventurers. Check this out. While the number of African explorers is impossible to determine, you see this, white people? You didn't do this alone. So stop thinking like you're so fucking powerful. You're not. You had help by the black man, or black woman, but in this case, the black man, or the African man, the one you hate, the one that you supposedly he's submissive to you and you're superior than him. Now, the only reason you're able to win is because he's the muscle. You're too weak to do it yourselves. The only way that you were able to kind of bring your dirty shit was through the smallpox and Frenchpox. These black conquistadors set an example to subsequent racial relations throughout the entire Spanish colonial experience, living their daily lives with the degrees of complexity that rarely would be achieved by black men and women in early English settlements in the Caribbean and in North America. Indeed, whenever Spain set its flag of conquest in the Americas, Africans helped hold a pennant. They participated in the exploration of the lands that would become modern-day Mexico, Costa Rica, Honduras, Panama, Venezuela, Peru, Chile, and Florida, Arizona, and New Mexico and Texas. Men such as Juan Garrido. So now I go back to Realm. What were we doing, Realm? What you saying that they came to civilize us? Is this what you're saying? We came to the Americas and looked at us now. So you came with black men? They came with you? Is that the case? Now, Juan Garrido is an actual important thing here because, there is such a thing as Juan Garrido. Let's listen in. No sound. Okay, sorry, my bad. I don't even know how far there was no sound. Let's see. Where were we at? Hold on a second. Damn, bro, no sound. Shit, for a while, huh? Let me see where I left off. Well, was it no sound? Honestly, I don't know where no sound is, man. I think I might have been reading the horrific stories or La Matanza or Robert Kennedy, whatever, all that stuff. You guys saw that, right? But I see what you mean. Okay, so let's go back to this. All right, so let me read this for you. And the reason why I wanted to read this to you is because we got people like Realm over here that claim to know themselves and the white man's superior and all that shit. But let me educate you. Y'all didn't. The white man didn't do it alone. The European, the Anglo-Saxon, or the Anglo-Spaniard didn't do it alone. It is not all the first explorers and conquerors of New Spain were European. What's going on here? So let me get to the point. It says here, while the number of African explorers is impossible to determine, they participated in some way in virtually all the Spanish expeditions in the New World in the 16th century. These black conquistadors set an example of subsequent racial relations. This is why I was showing his stupid ass comment. This one right here. Because he said, what he said? He says, where are you at? Where are you? Have no argument. Oh, here it goes. When we came to the Americas and look at us now. So did you know that that black folks were helping y'all? Because y'all hate black folks too. You racist pricks. See, you don't know this about your history. So get off your high horse. Mr. Edomite, get off your high horse. You are not superior like that. You got help by them. Big time. They're the muscle. Without them, y'all wouldn't have done shit. Without the smallpox and Frenchpox and them, you guys wouldn't have done shit. Those are facts. These black conquistadors set an example of subsequent racial relations throughout the entire Spanish colonial experience, living their daily lives with degrees of complexity that rarely would be achieved by black men and women in the early English settlements in the Caribbean and in North America. Indeed, whenever Spain set its flag of conquest in the Americas, Africans helped hold the pennant. They helped the Edomites participate in the exploration that would become Mexico, Costa Rica, Honduras, Panama, Venezuela, Peru, Chile, as well as Florida, Arizona, New Mexico, Texas. Such men as Juan Garrido, for example. See what I'm saying? Hey, true that. That's for sure, bro. They were colonized. White folks were being enslaved, big time. You guys lacked a lot of knowledge, man. I mean, look, I've said it before. It took you until the 1800s in Europe to develop plumbing in Britain. You guys were literally drinking the shit out of that river and pissing in that river. Like, you really were walking on that river, like walking on your own stuff. Like, stop acting like you were some, like, I don't know, some advanced civilization. You were not. And you know, and again, in this channel, man, I teach facts. I ain't trying to offend nobody in specific. All I do is read history, and then I bring it to the effect with the Bible. And based on what I read, a lot of the facts show that, hey, man, it wasn't just the gringos doing this shit. So we need to bring facts to the table. But right now, what I'm doing is using an example of how some of these Edomites, they think they're so powerful and so chosen and so enlightened that they really don't know their own history. They really don't know their own history. So let's learn a little bit. And hopefully they could, you know, tone it down a little bit. Because your end is here. So you should repent. Because the most boastful and proudful you are, the worse the torment's going to be for you. Let's go.
Most of us think that the first Africans to arrive in what is now the United States were slaves. But it turns out that that's not true. The first African to set foot on what would become United States soil was a free black man named Juan Garrido, a conquistador, the Spanish name for a conqueror. Garrido was born around 1480 in West Africa. As a young man, he traveled to Lisbon, Portugal, then to Sevilla, Spain. When he converted to the Roman Catholic Church, he took a new name, Juan Garrido, meaning handsome John.
He winds up sailing with the Spanish as a free person, as a conquistador, and spends 3 decades in service to the Spanish crown.
In 1513, Garrido participated in Ponce de Leon's famed expedition in Florida in search of the Fountain of Youth. This is the first record of a black person setting foot in what is now the United States.
What does that mean? It means that there was this space people of African descent could occupy that wasn't exclusively being a person of bondage.
Garrido settled in Mexico, where he spent his final years working at a gold mining operation. And while he was a free man, he profited from local slave labor.
And most of them were natives. Again, proving 2 points and 2 facts here. Because we don't walk away, nor are we afraid of truth. And if it burns your spirit, then it's meant to be that way. because these are facts. That's one of them. I think that's the Estebancico, not Juan Garrido. So you see the native, see this light-skinned dude, you see this dark-skinned person. Okay, here we go. So now you see this right here, so-called African. You see this Spaniard. You see our natives. Here we go right here. And this is very common. This is true. These are not lies. These are facts. And some of y'all have to live with it. You on the left side that think you did this by yourself, and you on the right side that think you had nothing to do with it. You did. Now, to educate some of you Edomites that have no clue and think that you were doing so well in Europe, no, unfortunately, no, you weren't. Black conquistadors were a minority, but the Spanish sought to include them in their conquest, which is true. Now, again, keep in mind that it wasn't all technically dark skin, considering West African or South African, right? No. A lot of them were North African or East African or Arabs. But if you don't understand the mixture that was going on in North Africa, then you would assume that they were all like supposedly black looking. No, there was a lot of slavery going on from the north to the south. They were bringing Slavs, women as slaves and leaving them up north in North Africa, sometimes taking them all the way to Central or even to the Middle East. That's why you have a lot of light-skinned people down there, right? Because they would covet the white women. Not the men, but they would covet the white women, right? That's why you have a lot of mixture going on. So don't go and assume that everybody that is African looks like people from, like, say, black people from here. Not at all. So now, check this out. This is an amazing picture because it solidifies what I'm talking about. Look, you see these Arabs, right? This is Granada right here, okay? So they go out and protect Granada, and here comes the Spaniards trying to reclaim Granada once more. These are facts. So, Mr. Gringos, listen. They slaughtered you guys for a while. So get off your high horse. The average black conquistador began his career in his 30s and enslaved prisoners of war. Almost all the black conquistadors became free, with most of before being freed soon after arriving to the New World or shortly after fighting along Spanish. These are facts. This is what we encountered. You see, this is our people. These are the Spaniards. And here is a black conquistador, so to speak. Here's another light skin. There's Malinche. So now I laugh at you Wabos, man. You Wabos love to use these other pictures from like the 1700s, but yet you completely ignore this picture, which is from the 1500s. See? So before realm, you go out here and assume that you were this superior nation. Not at all. Like, oh, it was just us, and we had, and natives enslaved and black people enslaved. No, not at all. Not at all. No. There was black folks that had slaves just like you. Nothing to be proud of, but these are facts. The Journal of History of Negro History. It says here, among the quaint old 17th century statues of Virginia, we may be found the following significant enactments. No Negro or Indian, though baptized and enjoyed their own freedom shall be capable of any purchase of Christians, but yet not be barred from buying any of their own nation. So in this instance, Christian meant white people, the white race. See? So it means that black people, white people were able to buy slaves. Apparently, supposedly, Indian, but which Indian? The white ones? Remember, by this time, they were already considering themselves white skin because it was a benefit, correct? We also see the actual story of one particular person, John Anthony Johnson, who really, opens up and broadens the whole going from indentured servitude to perpetual slavery. This is from Black Masters, a free family of color, Old South. So this is Elliot, okay? One of the richest black slavers in America back in the day. Page 141. What little evidence we have suggests that Ellison's mastery was neither particularly mild, not particularly harsh. With the major exception of the apparent sale of slave girls, his slaves suffered the usual rigor of bondage. Despite his own history, Ellison did not view his shop and plantation as a halfway house to freedom. He never permitted a single slave of his to duplicate his own experience, nor shred any evidence indicates. No, I'm sorry. No shred of evidence indicates that he felt the tug of racial affinity. No documents hint that he considered his slave members of an extended plantation family. Ellison's ancestry offered immunity to no slave, and his definition of family stopped far of the quarters. Everything suggests that Ellison, which was a black man, held his slaves to exploit them, to profit from them, just as white slaveholders did. Damn. So again, this goes hand in hand with the whole situation of Mr. What's his name? Realm. And you know what? The reason why I mentioned the legacy of hate. Oh, sorry, my bad. Is this it? Yeah, it is. It's because, hey, look, man, I've shared this before, and a lot of people don't like me because you think I'm hateful. It's like bitter wisdom. I hate knowing this. I hate the fact that people lie to us. Okay, and this is so profound to me because, again, we're talking about a nation of people that kind of work together hand in hand, man, for some time to take over which town? Whoa. Oh, my head. Hold on. Yep. My headphone is dying. Let me see if it can. Oh, a second. Oh, I know what happened. Give me a second, family. Give me a second. All right. Yeah, so that's what occurred. So I guess they're both dying. Give me a second. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Yeah. So my headset's dead. I'm gonna play by ear. All right. So hopefully you guys can follow. Anyways, so check this out. We have here the Journal through African American Culture and Heritage regarding Texas. Now remember, we talked about Texas a lot, right? So this is not just an exploitation of a particular nation. I'm talking about the exploitation of nations towards a particular indigenous nation, who are the Hebrews of this book. Now, I've mentioned several examples of certain people that came and took lands that did not belong to them. Now, a lot of us thought that they were just gringos, but it wasn't so. There's no offense. Deal with it. These are true facts. Although free individuals of African heritage received liberties under Mexican law, many fought with the Texans, the term used to describe residents of Texas before annexation, against Mexico during the Texas Revolution. You see this? Many historians believe these free persons of African descent joined the cause to protect their status among the Anglo settlers. So even though we also helped them, they turn against us too. Which is why this is not surprising. Give me a second. The Buffalo Soldiers. Again, I'm bringing out history here. Facts. Facts that pertain to the topic. For example, like this one. When the border crossed us, a lifetime and legacy of hate. Don't assume that it's just one particular type of people, because Psalms 83 is talking about several nations, about 7 of them. Now, what am I talking about regarding Buffalo Soldiers? The Buffalo Soldiers reenactors engaged in a fireman exhibit of a group of school. See that? They're doing this, right? In front of who? In front of our people. Now, why am I bothered by it? Okay, I'll show you why. Because just like the Anglos that come here to this channel and claim and assume things like as if they know. Give me a second. Did I download it? Thought I downloaded it. Let me get it. Let me get it real quick, fam. Yep. Give me a second, all right? Give me a second. All right, check this out. This is my point. And again, I'm fair and square with everybody, bro. What's going on? Save the damn video, bro. How come it's not saving it? Give me a second, family. I don't know why it's not saving it.
Breaking OG, bringing you that hidden truth.
Give me a second.
Because LeBron James and Jesse Jackson.
Trying to get it. Hold on. Now I'm getting mad. All right, here it goes. All right, let me show you guys. Here's the point.
Breaking OG, bringing you that hidden truth. Because LeBron James and Jesse Jackson will not give it to you like this, you see. Mr. Spook Lee will never make movies about this. And I wonder why. So, I'm here learning about the Buffalo Soldiers, Geronimo, and the Wounded Knee Massacre. And I must say, the more I learn about these Black Americans and their history, the more I understand why things are happening the way they are now in the USA. Just look at the type of things these people were doing to the Native Americans. All the while crying about, the Black Wall Street Massacre, the Rosewood Massacre, boo-hoo-hoo, But look at the nonsense they were doing to the Native Americans. They will not tell you that these Black Americans massacred over 200 innocent men, women, and children for absolutely no reason. And they are here proud afterwards. To make matters even worse, these Black Americans have the nerve to claim to be the Native Americans in year 2023. What these Black Americans did to the natives is equivalent to going up to a person that you see choking, and then you sneak up behind them and you proceed to strangle them. You see, that is pure evil right there. And there's no way you can get out of this. You cannot play the blame the white man card on this at all. You see? All I know is I will say this and I will end this vid because if I keep talking, these Black Americans are going to report because they cannot handle the funk. But I know that if it was us Ethiopians that these Black Americans did this to, and then have the nerve to try to claim your identity, a lot of these Black Americans, they live in homes.
It's a part of the history that a lot of people don't know happened the way that it happened. A lot of times we think that it was just a gringo, el güero, that did all the debauchery. Well, they did take pictures, but they hired other people. Like I told you, man, they cannot do it themselves. They will always need help. So before you get off your high horse, Edomites. Get off your high horse. Let's go back to the point. Luke 16:20. And there was a certain beggar named Lazarus, which was laid at his gate full of sores. So now we're understanding who a Lazarus is, right? Keep that in mind. Verse 19, there was a certain rich man, which was clothed in purple and fine linen, and fared sumptuously every day. America and its people. And their spirit towards the people that actually do own this land. Verse 23, and in hell he lifted up his eyes. So now we talked about who the rich man is. We know now how this parable is being broken down. Now we can understand, if we reflect on the beginning of the class, what it means, what beggar means, what laid means, what sores means, what crumbs mean, right? Who the dogs are and why they lick their sores and what it means. If you understand that, if you follow the class, then you would know. Verse 23. So now they both die. And what happens to the rich man? Well, let me read verse 22. And it came to pass that the beggar died, and he was carried by the angels into Abraham's bosom. So now he passes Lazarus, and he's taken up. His spirit is taken up Listen to what happens to the rich man, like the people that show up here. The rich man also died and was buried. You see, the angel didn't take him up. No, he was buried. And he was buried for what? And in hell, he lifted up his eyes, being in torment. That's the reason. So these laws that you're passing, Stephen Miller, the damn other guy, the czar, the border czar, that hatred that they have in their eyes towards our people, that good feeling they get for hating us, that torment right there, that hatred that they have for us, that torment's going to be torn on them. It's going to turn on them. I'm going to guarantee you that right now. I already told you WW3 is going to happen, and it's going to be here. I showed you the actual prophetic. I've given you some futuristic stuff. We saw the material from the Planet 2024, Shane Ball against Trump, Putin against Lewinsky, or whatever, Zelensky. And now we have China, Warren and somebody else, and I believe that's Netanyahu. I think. So now, let's go to this torment of hatred. What is it going to do? Revelation 14:11, and the smoke of their torments ascended up forever and ever, and they have no rest day nor night, who worship the beast in his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. So we know now this beast is this nation and its people. It's given power. But again, what's going to happen in their torment? Enjoy. Live it. You want to call us beaners, spits, wetbags, get out of our country, deport us, you know what I'm saying? Put us in cages, put us in internment camps. By all means, if you're going to do it, then fucking do it. 2 Ezra 9:9, then shall they be in pitiful case, which now have abused my ways. And they that have cast them away despitefully shall dwell in torment. For such as in their lives have received benefits and have not known me. They thought their God was with them, but because they were getting benefits, prosperity. Isn't that what they teach? But the Most High don't know them. They that have lost my laws. Jesus did away with all of that. He nailed our sins at the cross. We can do whatever we want, except you can't have abortions and you can't be gay because, we're Christians, but we can celebrate Christmas even though it's not in the Bible. We can get divorced all the times. We can have, sex before marriage, celebrate Thanksgiving, you know what I mean? Abuse the poor, pass laws that favor the rich, it's okay. They that have loathed my law, while they have yet liberty. You had the chance to actually do good. And when as yet place of repentance was open unto them, understood not, but despised it. And instead, now you have a nation of atheists here in America enjoying the privilege and prestige, standing in crowds debating about whether God is real or not. And you say you're the people of the chosen. Isaiah 34:8, it says, for it is the day of the Lord's vengeance and the year of recompense for the controversy of Zion. And the streams thereof shall be turned into pitch, and the dust thereof into brimstone, and the land thereof shall become burning pitch. It shall not be quenched night nor day. The smoke thereof shall go up forever. From generation to generation shall lie waste. None shall pass through it forever and ever. Wherever you are going to be, that's where you'll see the smoke of your destruction. But I love it how it says one of the most important things here. For it is the day of the Lord's vengeance, the year of recompense for the controversy of Zion. Vengeance for the poor. The poor. The poor in spirit. The Lazarus. Not the rich man. The Lazarus. Isaiah 14:32. What shall one then answer the measure of the nations? What shall one then answer the messenger of the nations? That the Lord hath found Zion, and the poor of his people shall trust in it, in the prophecy, in the book, in what is being promised, saying, repent, reflect, and repeat, or reflect, repent, and repeat consistently every single day. He only looks for those ones in contrite heart and a sincere broken spirit that wants to change their life. Matthew 5:3, blessed are the poor in spirit, for there is the kingdom of heaven. So if you're in this because you want to debate and you want to sit back and smoke a joint and drink a 40 and we're gonna have a good time and collect some funds, really, bro? Or if you saying that you can deal with prostitutes and go to clubs and shit like ISUPK and Sakari, because they do that. I know y'all trying to say you don't. Yeah, you do. Poor in spirit. Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. I am not in it to win some type of kingship or have multiple women or have a vast land. I effed up and I don't want to get destroyed. That's why I am changing my ways. Blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. Thirst of what? The water. The water. Because without the water, you won't have it. The water is the word. Let's go back now. Isaiah 2:8. It says, their land shall all... is that Isaiah 2:8? I don't think that's it. Nah, bro, 1:8. It was 1:8, I think. Well, see those lines left of this guy. Nah. Is that it? Nah. I'm sorry. Let me go back to Matthew. Because I thought I wrote down the right scripture. Every now and then I do that. So it says here, let's see, once again, Matthew 5:3, blessed are the poor in spirit. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. And you that despise the poor. Let's read it in James. What happens to you guys that despise the poor? James 2:5 says, hearken, my beloved brethren, hath not God chosen the poor of this world, rich in faith? Had God not chosen the poor of this world, rich in faith, and heirs of the kingdom, which had promised to them that love him? But ye have despised the poor. Do not the rich man oppress you and draw you before the judgment seats? See this? Vengeance is for the poor. And here we see that the poor is despised all the time. It's a sad case, family. Hold on. My headphones is dying, that's what. I'm going to let it charge for a little bit. Hold on. I'm going to let them both charge because I got a wireless piece here too, so I got to charge. It says here, and heirs of the kingdom which had promised to them that love him, but you have despised the poor. Why? Because God didn't choose brown people? God didn't choose the indigenous people? We weren't civilized enough for you, like what the Anglo man said here not too long ago. Do not the rich man oppress you and draw you before the judgment seats? Blessed are the poor. Blessed are the poor, man. Now let's go to Isaiah 55:1. We're almost done, family. We're almost done. I went 3 hours, so we're almost done on this. Isaiah 55:1. I hope it was edifying for y'all, okay? It says here, ho, everyone that thirsted, come ye to the waters. And he that had no money, come ye, buy and eat. Ye, come, buy wine and milk without money, without price. Repentance does not cost a damn thing. Repentance shouldn't cost us a damn thing, family. I don't know why people have to ask you guys for merchandise or to sign up for some pantheon, and they give you the deep, dark understanding there, supposedly, that you have to have enrollments in order for you to learn more. Repentance should not cost you a thing at all. They shouldn't merchandise your spirit. They should not merchandise your salvation. Wherefore do ye spend money for that which is not bread? And you labor for that which satisfy not? Hearken diligently unto me, and eat ye that which is good, and let your souls delight itself in fatness. See? He that is meek in spirit. Remember, I told you those secrets are revealed to who? Those people that are in the scriptures. That's why in Romans 7, it says something really good. Romans 7:12, it says, wherefore the law is holy, and the commandments holy and just and good. Nobody did away with the laws, you dumb Christians. You guys are just filthy animals in spirit. You don't love the Most High. You love yourselves. You love what supposedly he gives you. Gold, money, and power. That's what you love. You don't love the actual discipline and structure. You don't love that. No, you don't. Because that means sacrificing something. Psalms 119, verse 62. I'm sorry, verse 60. It says, thy word is true from the beginning. Every one of thy righteous judgments endureth forever. So this, what's going on is judgment, fam. It is judgment. Embrace it. The challenges, I don't know, the fear that sometimes your spirit carries, the discomfort. Because if things are right for you right now, man, I don't know, bro, but if you're battling, that's a good thing. If you're trying to do the right thing and you're battling, not because you're trying to do the right thing, but things get in the way when you're trying to get in a good pattern, then that's a good sign. Like a brother told me, and I think it was you, VTC, that when things are bad for you, like don't think it's because you're doing something bad. When things are going bad for you, it may not be because you're doing something bad, it's because you're doing something good. You know what I'm saying? Like it may just be that. So you guys got to stay in the fight. You can't give up. This is the best time to be in right now. Wherefore do ye spend money for that which is not bread? Isaiah 55:2. And you labor for that which satisfy not? Hearken diligently unto me, and eat ye that which is good, and let your souls delight itself in fatness. Meaning, like if you work physically for to have a good living or to have some food in your stomach, how come you don't work hard to learn the spirit of the Ruach? Incline your ear and come unto me, hear, and your soul shall live, meaning in the book. Study to show yourselves approved unto God, not to the man or women, unto God. And I will make an everlasting covenant with you, even the sure mercies of David. Behold, I have given him for a witness to the people, a leader and commander to the people. See that, fam? Behold, thou shalt call a nation that knoweth not, that thou knowest not, and nations that knew not thee shall run unto thee because of the Lord thy God, for the Holy One of Israel, for he had glorified thee. They'll be surprised. They'll be very surprised, man. That's why you got to think about, man, when you get deep into these books and these topics, why do you think the Bible says this right here? For any time any dumbass Christian tries to tell you otherwise, then ask him this. Psalms 147:19. He showed his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He had not dealt so with any nation. And as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye the Lord. So if he's saying is that he didn't give this to no other nation, why are they saying that? Why Jesus came and did away with the laws and gave the door to everybody? It makes no sense. Want to know why? Because Galatians 3:23 says this in the New Testament. But before faith came, we were kept under the law. Psalms 147:19 says that he only gave his word and judgment unto Jacob, his statutes his laws to Jacob, his statutes and judgments to Israel. He didn't do nothing with no other nation. Here he says in Galatians 3:23, but before faith came, we were kept under the law, shut up unto faith, which should afterwards be revealed. Wherefore the law was our schoolmaster to bring us unto Christ, the Meshiach. So the only way that you would know the Mashiach and his parables and his understanding and his wisdom and his dark sayings is if you understood this law before in your previous generations. So then that's why in your previous generations, this was your schoolmaster. Now is the time to apply it. There you go. Taking the good with the bad, bro. So once again, you need to be mindful what you guys are actually believing, or if you really think you know your own history, because you may be surprised. We're all here reaching. I think a lot of us are reaching. Some of us are right on point. Some of us are right on point. Now I'm going to share this with you. I'll give you guys some scriptures real quick. This is from, where are you at? Give me a second. Here it goes. I'm gonna bring up the book of Enoch. I've been reading it more. I like it. I especially like this verse here. Because we're almost finished. Chapter Enoch 102, verse 6 through 11. It says here, okay, woe to you, for to you there shall be no peace. Neither can you say to the righteous and to the good who are alive, in the days of our trouble, we have been afflicted. Every species of trouble has we seen, and many evil things we have suffered. Our spirits have been consumed, lessened, and diminished. We have perished, nor has there been a possibility of help for us in the word or in deed. We have found none, but we have been tormented and destroyed. Where does that say? That that's what's going to occur in the end to you. To you, heathens. To you, haters of truth. To you, rich men. So enjoy your seat. Enjoy your power. Enjoy it. Keep making your videos about how you're going to, I don't know, invade Mexico and deport people and put them in internment camps. Go for it. Wisdom of Solomon 16:4, for it was requisite or required that upon them exercising tyranny should come penury, meaning pain. Okay, so you guys were used to exercise tyranny, to bring pain upon certain people, which they could not avoid, because this is going to be the wake-up call for us. But to these it should only be showed how their enemies were tormented. Now, for when the horrible fierceness of beasts came upon these, and they perished with the sting of crooked serpents, thy wrath endured not forever. But it says here, but they were troubled for a small season, that they might be admonished, having a sign of salvation, to put them in remembrance to the commandments of thy law. So just like, they're getting the destruction, we're getting the ass whooping for a good damn reason. Now, with all that said, family, let me go ahead and finish up with a quick. Hold on, I'm going to play a video, and then we're all done. Appreciate you guys being here. It's a long night. I got this to show you. I played a song when I first began. It's from here. Okay? So listen to me real quick. I think this is a strong message for our gente. I think it's beautiful, man. The president here, she did something interesting. She invited, I'll let her speak. All right, check it out. I'm not going to play it all 15. I'm going to go until they talk, and then there's going to be a song, and I'll play the song, and I'll finish it with a song. All right, let's go.
Nos ayudan y se quedan viendo la mañanera, pues van a ver esta sorpresa tan hermosa que le tenemos hoy de regalo, en este que es el Día Internacional del Migrante, que fue decretado el 18 de diciembre como el Día Internacional del Migrante por la Organización de las Naciones Unidas. Y esta es una dedicatoria con orgullo, con amor, con todo el corazón para todas y todos los hermanos migrantes mexicanos que están en todos lados del mundo, pero particularmente en los Estados Unidos de América.
Muchas gracias, Presidenta.
Vamos con el video y luego llega la sorpresa.
Este himno es muy importante porque dignifica a las y los migrantes, hace que con el esfuerzo que hacen las personas, lo que hace la gente para sacar a su familia adelante, mucha gente se tiene que ir y tienen que emigrar, tienen que ser valientes, tienen que pasar por muchas cosas.
Mi mamá tuvo que cruzar para venir acá y a darnos un futuro mejor para sus hijos. Mi familia entera que se vino de aquí para allá, es algo muy especial y la verdad esta canción me pega mucho en el corazón.
Me toca interpretar y ser parte del himno del inmigrante. Estoy muy contenta porque comparto con muchos talentos mexicanos. Me toca a mí ser la parte femenina, la parte que también defiende a esas mujeres que también van al otro lado a luchar por sus familias.
Muchas de las personas que escribimos este tema crecimos en la frontera y lo que se vive al día con día.
Estoy muy agradecido de ser americano y mexicano. Siento que la cultura chicana es algo muy, muy especial.
Que con esta canción sientan nuestro apoyo, nuestro reconocimiento y el orgullo que sentimos de que estén allá del otro lado, poniendo el nombre de nuestro país muy en alto.
es lo que hace la música y mejor representar a nuestro país con la cultura.
Para mí la verdad es un orgullo, no me imaginé representando una nación completa. Y lo que queremos nosotros los mexicanos es que México sea mejor para que se puedan regresar a su país.
Este país que es México tan hermoso y tan bonito, ¿no? Y por eso qué mejor que enaltecerlo con toda nuestra gente.
Un mensaje de que sí se puede, o sea, la gente que me vea en sus televisiones, en mi pueblo, pues, se imagina lo bonito que van a sentir. Me siento orgulloso de ser de ella.
A la presidenta le decía que pues muchas gracias.
Sin duda, Claudia ha marcado historia en nuestro país, en el mundo también. Y eso nos toca ahora a las mujeres, empezar a hacer historia en todos los ámbitos, en la música, en la política, en todos los aspectos. Presidenta Claudia, quiero agradecerte por lo que estás logrando hacer en todas las mujeres de este país y las mujeres de todo el mundo. Estás poniendo el ejemplo y estás haciendo referencia de muchas mujeres y muchas niñas que quieren cumplir sueños. Gracias.
Y como dice nuestro himno, y aunque el acta diga americano, hay en puro mexicano. ¡Viva México y viva Estados Unidos!
Ahora sí, adelante. Este es el regalo el día de hoy para todas nuestras paisanas.
Listos.
Mesta isukame Claudia Shemo ya utayo. Shabete ya komra khabeni. Kana pokayube. Tita pero yemu ke ak.
De donde soy, no nos rajamos. Cualquier tierra la trabajamos. El sacrificio jamás es en vano. Que hasta el espacio hemos llegado. Where we are from, no nos rajamos. And what we dream of lo realizamos. Gran paisano, hermano, amigo, soy mexicano. Y cambiamos de lugar, no de bandera. Verde, blanco y rojo lo llevo en las venas. Como el águila volamos sin fronteras. Rompemos la malla que separa tierras. Y nacimos con legado de grandeza. Extraño mi rancho, también mi familia. Pueblo querido que no se me olvida. Aunque de este lado me trajo la vida, siempre para Adela como Pancho Villa. Y cambiamos de lugar, no de bandera. Verde, blanco, rojo lo llevo en las venas. Como el águila volamos sin fronteras. Rompemos la malla que separa tierras. Y nacimos con legado de grandeza.
A nuestras mujeres y madres inmigrantes, un ejemplo de fuerza y valor. ¡Y que viva México!
Y aunque el acta diga americano, hay en puro mexicano.
Y cambiamos de lugar, no de bandera. Verde, blanco y rojo lo llevo en mis venas.
Como el águila volamos sin fronteras. Rompemos la malla que separa tierras. Y nacimos con legado de grandeza. Y cambiamos de lugar, no de bandera. Verde, blanco y rojo lo Viven huyendo de la envidia como los niños en Siria de la bomba que le manda el Pentágono. Y todo el día, mamá mía, keeping it that's so real. Love man, I never fear, never, no. La travesía de la vida más que misericordiosa y nuestra prosa siempre vaya fabono. Tú podrás por mí traicionar a tu familia, matar tu brazo, sangre, si vos sabías, pero yo no. Familia, familia, es el que está a la mínimo. Familia, familia, comparte almas cristalinas. Familia, familia, Rasta Giant familia. Familia, familia, Magna White son familia, ya no maniga.
خواتي شو من حالي وشو من حالي هلي بالك ربي كبير وربي عالي واللي جاي يديني يوم وباغي سالي ربي يغفر لي ولا دراري خواتي شو من حالي وشو من حالي هلي بالك ربي كبير وربي عالي واللي جاي يديني يوم وباغي سالي ربي يغفر لي ولا دراري Tuve un sueño donde no había amor se perdía el color de una flor se marchaba lentamente con el sol en el horizonte hacer algo para calmar en mi dolor y es por eso que le pongo flow vibrando alto siempre Burruco bimba y es que todo por la familia Burruco bimba y es por eso vengo a bendecir Burruco bimba y es que todo por la familia Burruco bimba y es por eso vengo a bendecir
Familia, familia, es el que está a la mínimo. Familia, familia, comparte almas cristalinas. Familia, familia, Rasta Giant familia. Familia, familia, Magna White son familia, ya no maniga.
Magna super slalom, subiendo a nuevo escalón Metallic in the salon, esquivo like si de Stallone Esos stage van del palo, pero bitch no rascan balón Aunque me enrollo nada cáñamo, nunca me paro Aunque van tras de mí, no se pueden medir Buscan el elixir, está metalizado Y es que yo soy así, no van a descubrir Sexy flow y skill con este descaro Si familia necesita de ti, fíjalo Burruco Connection, Antarctic Field, dígalo A mí nadie aérea du Paris, día yo Los magnetes han llegado, están aquí, píalo Para soportar el dolor como no imaginas Es la vida en ámbar Aunque creas que no puedes tú solo con la movida Yo llevaré tus bambas Familia, familia Fighting the hate and the media Familia, familia It's original, man. Familia, familia Fighting the hate and the media Familia, familia Yo soy un rocket, ellos a brillar Con los míos siempre se lo baila Menea melena, remueve la vaina Aunque agarre fuerte el fruto para que no se caiga Son los Magna de Boss Final Con los míos siempre se lo baila Menea melena, remueve la vaina Aunque agarre fuerte el fruto para que no se caiga Son los Magna de Boss Final Disparo a millas sin mirar y sin mirar sin asimilar que es la puta herida de tu vida hurgo Los manas te la chatarrilla hacen pa' pillar piltrafillas de zono no pilla y se va con la furgo Te hará falta una pedicura y una cura si se apura Quizás llega la locura de mi turbo Dale vueltas a la partícula, deja ya la mandíbula Quieta que sola llega a Luxemburgo
Niño que para la compota que la pera pasa
Pero vinimos a mejorarla
Pa' hablar por mi familia y tengo autoridad
Saben que no puedo cagarla
Si pone ritmo y los manos les botan cuatro patas ¿Quieres esa vaina va a probarla? Todo aquel en el party donde se canta What the fuck, what the girl, what an alma Vivimos huyendo de la envidia como los niños en Siria de la bomba que le manda el Pentágono Y todo el día, mamá mía, keeping it that's so real Love man, I never fear, never, no La travesía de la vida más que misericordiosa Y nuestra prosa siempre para fabono Tú podrás por mí traicionar a tu familia Matar tu brazo, sangre, si vos sabías, pero yo no Familia, familia Es el que está a la mínimo Familia, familia Comparte almas cristalinas Familia, familia Rasta Giant familia Familia, familia Magna White son familia, ya no maniga
Bombo cry, sing it, sing it, sing it, sing it Cross the line on them Warrior Vengo con los míos, Magna Gate While I fire them Bombo cry, sing it, sing it, sing it, sing it Cross the line on them Warrior Vengo con los manas y saqué While I fire them A girl stop, shut up on the microphone ballad And let's smoke the marijuana, psycho Buddha bombo clap Bang bang in the street, fire fire burn it, fill it with. Rasta man, I want Illuminati, play the kill. Stop, shut up, on the microphone, galat. And the smoke, the marijuana, psycho, Buddha, Momokan. Bang, bang in the street, fire burn it, fill it with. Key Cray is a king, Magnus thing. Nobody, no kill them. In a crazy style. Chale, no fire them. It's a Rasta ganja. Nobody, no kill them. It's a crispy style. Tally, no fire cream. It's a Rasta ganja. Familiar, Rasta chai is familiar. Key Cray is familiar. Pure nego is familiar. Sico, Key Magneto, familia. Es el que está a la mínima. Familia. Compactar más cristaleras. Familia. Rasta y Zion, familia. Magna boy que doblaste manejo.
Ical, hijo, abre los ojos. Tu cuerpo se queda con nosotros, pero tu espíritu debe seguir. Busca la luz. Aléjate de las sombras. Deja que nuestro dolor sea tu fuerza. Desde aquí iluminamos tu camino. Lucha como nosotros ante esta pena tan grande. Yo soy tú eres yo. La muerte que hoy nos separa, mañana volverá a unirnos. Eres libre, hijo.